AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Amy, was one of your friends at the Apple store with Sean Spicer over the weekend? Because
in Georgetown? Yeah.
it sounded like something that one of your friends would do. Sean Spicer was at the Apple store, I don't know, to upgrade his iPhone.
Yeah. And
Maybe get some surveillance equipment put on it.
No, he just wanted to upgrade his iPhone. And, he was with his kids shopping, just like what normal people do, guys, on the weekends.
And then this happened.
Feel to work for a fascist? How does it feel? You have a great country. How do have you helped with the Russia stuff? Are you a criminal as well? Have you committed treason too, just like the president?
Thank you.
Have you committed treason too? What can you tell me about Russia?
It's a great country to live in.
Yeah. What can you tell me about Russia, Mr. Secretary?
Thank you.
What can you tell me? You know you work for a fascist, right? You work for a fascist.
Oh, yeah.
How do you feel about
Palm
that?
Beach, right?
How do you feel about destroying our country, Sean? How do you feel about that? Do you feel good about the decisions you're making?
you guys
About
very much.
lying to
Appreciate
the
it.
American
Thank you for
people? Do you feel good about lying to the American people?
See, so he was checking out at the time, trying to get her off of him. He really handled himself amazingly.
You
I was so
call
proud
me
of him.
You can call me Sean. You don't need to call me Mr. Secretary.
Mr. Secretary. Yeah, she wasn't arrested, and she
Why should
posted.
be arrested?
I don't know. She posted it to Paris. Well, she didn't touch him, so she didn't need to be arrested. But she streamed it on Periscope and posted it on Twitter. And she's supposed to be this social justice warrior. I wonder if she was wearing a pea hat because she didn't turn the camera on herself. So we have no idea, but to only guess what she may have been, what she looked like, and what she may have been wearing.
Well, it's very interesting because it speaks to I don't know, the quality of the left. It says something about a couple of things. One is their total lack of decorum and respect for themselves and others. Two, somewhat their kind of relentless hysteria. But it should be a message for conservatives who would never behave like that, accost somebody in public like that, and it's inappropriate. By the way, this isn't like an 18-year-old college student.
No.
This is some 33-year-old woman named...
Do you have her picture?
Yeah, I got her on Twitter.
Is it Shreek? S-H-R-E-E-C? Shriek?
S-H-R-E-E. Shri Chauhan. Shri Chauhan, 33 years old. So 33-year-old woman that... you work for a fascist. Are you a criminal too? What do you know about the Russia thing? Very well versed on the issues. But the other side, I would never do that. You would never do that. But understand the other side would, because they do. So when you get shamed, I'm like, I just, I don't want to stand up to anybody, because they'll come over to our side, or they'll leave me alone, or we'll figure out a path to be constructive in our engagement. No, you won't. None of that is true.
You'll harass somebody, you'll get in their face.
None of that's true. And you see it in these local elections and elections in general all the time. But you see people get shouted down, including in the hoity-toity areas like the North Shore. You see them get shouted down. And what does the person, some of the people of the center-right perspective do? They run and hide. I want to avoid controversy. Oh, I don't want to be called a name at Starbucks. Oh, I don't want to be given the stink eye at my kid's Little League game. Okay, fine. Then get used to being plowed over. Get used to being accosted like Sean Spicer. I mean, Sean Spicer is obviously a uber example because of his position and his public notoriety. But in small communities, it's the same dynamic.
Right.
Where
Just
everybody
people
knows
aren't
everybody.
Yeah, but people aren't rolling on it. I mean, Sean Spicer, we got to see actually how he is harassed. And that's not the first time he's been harassed. It's just the first time somebody rolled on it and made it public.
But it's not about Sean Spicer. It's about what you do in the face of the ignoramuses, yes, but the thuggish left. That's the real takeaway. What do? Do you stand up with dignity like Sean Spicer did, say it's a great country, speak your mind? Do you stand up or do you get pushed around? Because I'll tell you what happens in Chicago and what happens in this state, people let themselves get pushed around all over the place. Ed in Oakbrook, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
You know what, Dan? I'm just full of rage listening to that because obviously this lady is totally out of control. And if you're out of control like that, do you want to sit next to something like that on an airplane? I'm suggesting that
sit next to it
what
in the
they
Apple
should
Store.
do is put these people on the no-fly list because, you know what? They're totally out of control. So that's my comment for today, and have a nice day.
All right, thanks
Hey,
for the call,
Ed.
Ed. Be safe on those roads, unless you've got a monster truck like Amy.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Chuck Spaveri, CEO of Spaveri's Custom Counters, a Chicagoland manufacturer of residential and commercial countertops. If there's a local commercial bank who knows how to get a deal done, it's Signature Bank. When my brother and I needed it, Signature Bank came through with a creative financing solution. That's because Signature Bank has experience working with companies like ours, a second-generation, family-owned and operated manufacturer. Our business matters to Signature Bank, and that comes through in every visit and every phone call with their team, right up to the bank's co-founders, Kevin, Mick, and Brian. Spaveri's is proud to bank with Signature Bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. Quickly, let's go to Marie in Kenosha. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer, Marie.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for taking my call. I just off the top of my head thought of a few things he could have said or responded to her. For instance, when she was asking, what do you know about Russia? Well, I know that then President Obama leaned over to him and said, just wait till after the next election and I can do more for you. And he could have been saying things like to her, hey, if you like your doctor, you can keep it. If you like your health insurance, you can keep it.
Yeah.
It's going to save families $2,500.
Yeah.
Tell me about those lies.
Thanks for the call, Marie. Unfortunately, I don't think she was interested in responding to facts or being confronted with her hypocrisy on the matter. But
and you don't really want to engage someone like that when you're at the Apple Store with family members.
yeah,
She's a little bit of different kind of crazy, but then in reality,
Right.
that's how a lot of the left still is. They're still whining and complaining and griping about the election. And at some point in time, it's got to stop. At some point in time, I pray that I go to church and it's not a topic during the sermon. Sometimes I pray that when I'm driving to church, I don't see people in pea hats.
You'll need to take your monster truck to a different church if you want that to happen. Let's now check the headlines with our friend Mike Scott.
26 degrees. We have light snow showers. Snow will continue throughout this day. Plows are out. Roads are a mess in many spots. And Jim Talamonte will be along with the latest on the expected commute this morning in just a few moments. A new report projects passage of the GOP's American Health Care Act will result in 14 million people losing health insurance coverage next year. That's a report from the so-called nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office, who says the number of uninsured will grow to 21 million in 2020 and 24 million in 2026. Democrats now are calling for Republicans to pull their Obamacare replacement plan after that report.
The CBO report should be a knockout blow for Republicans in Congress. They should heed this warning and turn back from their plan that would be a disaster for the country.
However, the Secretary of Health and Human Services, Dr. Tom Price, is rejecting that congressional report on the Republican repeal and replace plan.
So we disagree strenuously with the report that was put out. We believe that our plan will cover more individuals at a lower cost and give them the choices that they want.
Dr. Tom Price. President Trump is keeping a close eye on the storm that's stalking the Northeast and parts of the Mid-Atlantic. They could see up to 2 feet of snow by tomorrow morning. Federal Open Market Committee opens its second meeting of 2017. The FOMC will announce an interest rate move after the meeting wraps up Wednesday afternoon. Man accused of phoning in several of those bomb threats to Jewish community centers across the country will stay in jail. Federal judge in St. Louis yesterday ordered Juan Thompson held without bond. Parts of the Chicago area could make up for this winter's missing snow in just one day. The National Weather Service says up to 11 inches of snow could fall in parts of Cook Lake and DuPage counties. For folks from Springfield down to Cairo, freeze warning is in effect until Thursday morning. One person in custody after a suspected gang member was shot. Another struck by a vehicle outside a Walmart in Bedford Park. Family and friends are mourning after the wife of Congressman Bobby Rush passed away. Carolyn Rush died yesterday of congestive heart failure at the University of Chicago Hospital at the age of 67. And the Indiana winner of that $435.3 million Powerball jackpot has chosen to remain anonymous after coming forward to claim the 10th largest lottery jackpot in U.S. history. Hoosier Lottery directors say the lump sum payout will be $189.1 million after all federal and state taxes are withheld. Cubs over the Padres in spring ball. Sox beat the Indians. Bulls stopped their losing streak with a win over the Hornets, 115-109. The news service of CC's, now at CC's, 3 new deep dish pizzas on the Unlimited Buffet. Dig into original deep dish and the baked-in flavors of new jalapeno cheddar and garlic parmesan. More flavor, deep in every bite. Just $5 and change, only at CC's. 5:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher is for an investigation in response to President Trump's claims of wiretapping.
I've been reevaluating the thought about a special prosecutor. We don't need a special prosecutor. We need a bipartisan committee and oversight and go into this and let's investigate it all. Let's look at everything the Obama administration has done, the Trump administration with its supposed ties to Russia. Get it all out there.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, roasted fresh daily in Batavia, Illinois.
5:35. Let's get a check of the roads. So we do that in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. And here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Due to the snow, speeds are severely reduced this morning, especially north and northwest of Chicago, but it's becoming a factor throughout the area. Eden's travel time, give or take a few minutes, looking at about 30 minutes either way from Lake Cook and Balters, just due to the reduced speeds because of the snow at Kennedy. 26 minutes either way between O'Hare and downtown, the Eisenhower. 40 minutes either way, but that's actually just gone up now. 46 minutes Thorndale to downtown, and outbound 50. There is a crash past North Avenue, a multi-vehicle collision in the left lane. Stevenson, 40 minutes either way between 355 and Lakeshore Drive. The Ryan, 18 minutes, 95th to downtown. Speeds are reduced on the tollway, especially the Adams tollway in both directions, between 53 and the Tri-State. Northwest Indiana right now is looking okay. We have many flight delays and cancellations. Traffic is the service of NBC's Trial and Error. Tonight on NBC, don't miss the premiere of the new comedy Trial and Error, starring 5-time Emmy winner John Lithgow. It's a murder mystery wrapped in a comedy. Trial and Error, following The Voice, the must-see season finale of This Is Us. Tonight on NBC, traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Cloudy, breezy, not as cold. Couple of snow showers today. High 26, more than a couple in some spots. Clear and frigid overnight. Low 15. We do not have very many school closings in yet, but we do have several opening late. Many of those centered up in Waukegan this morning, and they're opening 2 hours late in districts in Lake County near Waukegan. 23 at O'Hare, 27 along the lakefront. Next news coming up at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Spring is in the air. The days are getting longer and the sun is shining brighter. Wouldn't it be nice to have new, customized window treatments to give your home a fresh look? The Blind Buddy can help you accomplish that without breaking the bank. Forget overpriced big box stores or pushy fly-by-night franchises. The Blind Buddy is an independently owned business serving Chicagoland for over 20 years by one of Chicago's first responders. They offer quality window treatments at affordable prices. Shutters, wood blinds, solar shades. Choose from a wide variety to fit your home or business, plus your style and budget. John, the Blind Buddy, will come to you and personally handle measurement to installation. The whole process can usually be done in 2 to 3 weeks. Read the Blind Buddy reviews on Yelp. Then give John a call to set up a free in-home consultation. The Blind Buddy's got Chicago covered. Visit theblindbuddy.com or call 773-893-0BUD. That's 773-893-0BUD.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Military Mortgage Talk with host Tony Gatliff. Sunday mornings at 9 on AM 560, The Answer.
You want more than just the headlines? Find out what's going on and what it means with me, Dennis Prager, this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So I'll tell you what, I'm just still thinking about that Spicer incident at the Apple store, being accosted by that 33-year-old woman, Sri Chauhan.
Yeah.
Maybe Melissa McCarthy should do an impersonation of Sri Chauhan instead of Sean Spicer, since it's the left that presents themselves in an undignified, unhinged way, and Sean Spicer, who comported himself perfectly.
I could see that, but I don't know if it'd be funny. Because
Right.
her as Sean Spicer is hysterical.
Speaking of hysterics, Dateline Ferguson, Missouri, back in the news because of this documentary that was produced that includes allegedly, previously unknown and unreleased surveillance video in the convenience store in question in which Michael Brown bum rushed the store owner. This documentary called Stranger Fruit has earlier surveillance video of Michael Brown inside the Ferguson market in which, according to the documentarian, he engaged in potentially a drug deal whereby he left a bag with some marijuana in it in exchange for some cigarillos.
Yeah, well, it shows Brown placing the object on the counter, and then the clerk smells it, and then Brown is then given those box of cigarillos.
And
you say.
Now, even if that was true, and he later comes back to the store
and then returns them. But I'm just saying.
No,
so
he didn't return them. He didn't take anything.
Well, he was given the box of cigarillos, and then he began to leave, but then comes back and hands them back to the clerk.
Yeah, so that's incident one. So then he comes back and he bum rushes the clerk at the video that everybody's seen. Now, even if that were true, the documentarian's perspective on this, and we have both the attorney for the Ferguson market as well as the prosecuting attorney for the community, Bob McCulloch, responding to this in a second. But even if that were true, how does that materially change the case? How does that in any way change the case of Darren Wilson responding to a call and then being bum rushed by Michael Brown when he sees him on the street?
The film director claims that it raises questions about police assertions that Brown had been suspected of robbing the store later in the day. But the video that I saw, he did. He was strong-arming the owner.
Well, that's what my point is, right. So the video that everybody saw, we saw him strong-arming the owner. Even if it was some kind of deal, and if some kind of deal gone bad, then he strong-arms the owner, which is plain to see. Everybody's seen this video at this point.
Mm-hmm.
How does that in any way materially change what he did and what happened? I mean, police weren't at the scene when this was going on. So they were responding to a call
of a robbery. And Michael Brown wouldn't stop. And then when Darren Wilson, the officer, tried to get him to stop, he grabbed for his gun.
Well, that's right. The whole, and so that's why. So
they see this like they're like. I think people see this as there wasn't full transparency. Michael Brown was a good guy.
Well,
he didn't deserve to be shot.
So let me just understand.
Yeah.
So if he was engaged in an alleged illegal transaction, that makes him a good guy. that somehow.
Well, he did have marijuana in his system, according to the.
Well, I bet. Right. Can we just focus on this? I don't understand, because this is being blown into something by the D.C. press corps, and it's of course because it's getting media coverage. You had protests the other night.
2 people were arrested outside the store, and then a third was arrested because he stuck a rag soaked with gasoline in a cop officer's tailpipe.
Yeah, let's burn this BH down, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so
where's Michael Brown's stepdad, huh?
But am I missing something though? How even taking it in a light most favorable, like I'll take a motion for summary judgment here. Taking in the light most favorable to the moving party, the documentarian and the professional protesters around Michael. Does it change anything?
312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. 64636, type in DA, then a quick comment.
Right. I just.
Well, then
I don't
also
see
he interviews his mom, who.
What, can we,
Right,
wait.
I know.
We've got to stay here. We've got to stay here first. Does it change anything if what they're claiming happened is true? Does it change anything about this case? Because I'm missing it. Is there something I'm missing? Here's Bob McCulloch, the St. Louis County prosecuting attorney, on this new revelation that turns out to be not a new revelation.
It was clearly an attempt to distort this and to turn it into something it isn't, to get back to another big lie. I mean, pretty clearly what went on in there was no transaction.
And just to fill in the blanks, because both the St. Louis County prosecuting attorney and the attorney for the Ferguson Market owners are saying essentially the same thing, but the attorney for the shop owners goes into some detail.
This whole ugly issue has been brought back into the forefront because of a documentary filmmaker who made an unfounded and baseless claim that the folks at Ferguson Market exchanged merchandise, cigarillos, and it turns out 2 sodas, and in exchange for a bag of marijuana. That is 100% false. Okay? It did not occur. What the filmmaker did was to edit down what is about a 4-minute interaction in the store down to about 20 seconds, maybe 25 seconds. And in that, and given his narration that went along with it, made it sound like Michael Brown came in, requested the cigarillos, put down a bag of marijuana, grabbed the package with the merchandise in it, started to leave, thought, you know what, I'm going to do this on layaway, turned around, gave it back to them, and asked them to hold it until the next morning. What he doesn't say is in the bag there were 2 sodas, so I don't know why he would have been coming back the next day to pick up 2 sodas. The entire story is preposterous and laughable.
Yeah, so the sodas were a throw-in on the deal. It's an odd
2 to go, please.
Odd exchange. So I mean, there's attorney representing the shop owners and attorney representing the taxpayers, the prosecuting attorney in the case.
But this video, all of this was handed over at the time after Michael Brown's shooting, but just now it's coming to light. You know why? Because it was boring. That's probably people didn't release it, or people had it, but they didn't release it earlier because it wasn't the point of the investigation. The point of the investigation is him taking a guy half his size, actually less than half his size, and strong-arming him and leaving with a pack of cigarillos. And what's a cigarillo anyway? And do you smoke them, Dan?
No, I do not.
Okay.
It's
Are they little?
Yeah, it's like
a
cheap cigars.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh! Only you and Sean from Elmwood Park. would say that.
I don't recommend them.
Okay.
For you kids out there, don't smoke cigarillos. Marty in Naperville, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, good show this morning.
Thank you.
Question I have, of every video that's ever popped up with this Michael Brown deal and everything that pops up, there's not one video shows him with his hands up saying don't shoot.
Because it didn't happen.
Yeah,
not one cell phone video,
right.
Nothing in this world where everything is videotaped.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Marty. I mean, that's right. And there was one eyewitness whose testimony was dubious, to say the least. But yeah, the physical evidence at the scene.
And even the
other eyewitness
Right.
testimony.
And even the coroner that they hired, the special guy who's supposed to break the case open, went out and said the bullet shots entered the front of his body, nothing from behind it. I'll never forget everyone's face went.
and also importantly, the trajectory.
Right.
So he wasn't on his knees.
No.
That was another suggestion.
He was
on his knees
standing
with
up.
his hands up.
Yeah.
Hands up. Yeah, he was standing up.
And his hands were not up.
He was assaulting the officer, Darren Wilson. Cassandra in Montrose Beach.
Good morning. It doesn't change anything material about the case, and it doesn't, sadly, change anything material about the irresponsibility of the mainstream news media. Thanks for listening.
Thank you for the call, Cassandra.
And thank you for listening.
Philip in Blue Island.
Well, it does change the narrative that you can just shoot black men for selling what's legal in a lot of places in America now. You can shoot black men for being black, for walking in the street. You can just shoot black men down, especially if you're a policeman. And then you have a racist city in Ferguson, and you got a racist police force that has been proven. So, yeah, just shoot black people.
So that's what happened in the Michael Brown case. He was walking. Philip, can I?
There was no trial. What was the left to the trial?
Can
you
I?
had a racist
Okay.
state attorney. That,
All right. Everybody's racist. Michael Brown was.
Everybody is.
So everybody's a racist.
Everybody is racist that's in that town.
Really? What about the? What about?
Don't say that. My friend Gary lives there.
What about the majority? What about the majority African American city council? They're racist.
Yeah, I mean,
everybody's racist.
The police chief now.
Everybody's racist.
African American.
All right, thanks, Philip. I get it. Everybody's a racist.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
When they say leave early for work, leave really, really early from work. It is nasty out there. There's a lot of snow squalls, too, especially in the northwest suburbs. We're going to have anywhere from 4 to 6 inches today. That's on top of what we got yesterday. Snow showers should be ending later today, then becoming clear and frigid tonight, a low of 15 degrees. And tomorrow, sunny skies, so that's good. No snow, a few clouds. Cold, though, a high, if we're lucky, of 31 degrees. Let's get to the roadways, slick spots, travel backups. Where are the snow plows? Here's Jim Talamonte in our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Good question, Amy, because it's still very snowy in the Adams Tollway, I-90 in both directions. Speeds are severely reduced, especially between 53 and the Tri-State because of the snowy conditions. And the worst of it, as you mentioned, northwest and also straight north. The North Shore is pretty rough. Got slow traffic on 41 in both directions. And the southbound Tri-State now bottled up from Russell Road to 41 with a crash in the left lane. Very slow, 120 to 137 south of Gurnee, and then from Gulf to the Adams Tollway. Travel times taken with a grain of salt. They're fluctuating, but the snow is really a factor. It is 32 minutes Lake Cook to Montrose on the Aidens, outbound 38. The Kennedy already 49 minutes from O'Hare to downtown, outbound 45 minutes. The Eisenhower 46 minutes from Thorndale to downtown, outbound 51. Crash past North Avenue in the left lane. Stevenson an hour, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive already, 45 minutes outbound. Ryan 21 minutes, 95th to downtown. Lots of flight cancellations at both airports. I'm Jim Talamonte of the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Hey, if you're looking to secure financing on a new home or want to refinance your existing mortgage, then you need to call David Hochberg, Vice President of Lending at Pro Mortgage. Jerry and Tina, combined income $100,000 a year, called to secure financing on a new home. Now, David ran their credit and determined it would take over a year to change Tina's scores because her credit was so horrendous. So David concentrated all his efforts and helped Jerry enhance his credit over the next 4 months period of time. Now, with a gift from Tina's parents and a $9,000 closing cost credit, David helped them negotiate from the seller. Jerry and Tina purchased a new home 6 months after contacting David and happily celebrated their first Christmas in their new home with their 2 kids. So if you're renting or living in your parents' basement and would like to get pre-qualified for free, call David now, 312-751-1333, or visit am560david.com. David helped me and thousands of AM560 listeners, but he can't help you if you don't call. 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage, an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee, 4358 NMLS 19186.
Check out the Glock event this weekend at Point Blank Range and Gun Shop. All the latest Glock firearms will be featured and on sale this Friday through Sunday and only at Point Blank. Point Blank Range and Gun Shop offers a state-of-the-art indoor shooting range, an extensive inventory of firearms and ammo, and a supportive, knowledgeable team. The Glock event is this weekend at Point Blank Range and Gun Shop. Check out shootpointblank.com for all the Glock info. Some restrictions may apply.
Wesley had IRS troubles.
They told me I owed them $43,000.
It got really bad.
Coming after my house, my car. I seriously thought that I was going to lose everything.
Wesley called Optima Tax Relief.
Oh, they were great people. Optima Tax. They know what they're doing.
Optima Tax Relief came through with flying colors.
I saved an incredible amount of money. Call Optima Tax Relief. Don't trust anybody else.
Call Optima for a free consultation. Call 800-410-6744. 800-410-6744.
Optima Tax Relief.
Scoundrels are not exclusive to politics. They're smart enough to occupy necessity service industries like the automotive business. As a real estate broker, my car is a lifeline and a total necessity to my business and my family, which is why I had to seek out an honest, truthful auto service provider. For over the past decade, I've put my trust in Craigies Mobile Service Center on Lake Street in Addison. Craigies handles full auto repair on foreign and domestic vehicles. They pride themselves on providing you the best cost-effective auto repair and expert advice. Craigies has full service bays and truck lifts that can service and manage your whole fleet. They also provide priority service for your business and can track each vehicle, alerting you to the repair before you need it, keeping your guys on the road. Since 1959, Craigies Mobile Service Center has thrived through 10 presidential administrations, giving you reputable, dependable, and honest auto repair. Do yourself a favor. Just go into Craigies on Lake Street in Addison. See my guy Vic. He'll set you up. Tell him Sean from Elmwood Park sent you. I approve of this message.
I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans. If you own a home, there's a good chance its value has gone up. In fact, year over year, housing values nationwide have risen by more than 6%, one of the largest increases this decade. Quicken Loans has smart ways to help you take advantage of your home's rising equity. You could take cash out to consolidate debt, or you could refinance to eliminate private mortgage insurance. No matter what's happening with the housing market, it's always a smart move to call us at 800-QUICKEN. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 4.18%, APR 4.35%. Experience the confidence that comes from working with a mortgage partner that has your best interest in mind. For 7 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. And for the third year in a row, they've also ranked us highest in the nation for mortgage servicing. Call 800-QUICKEN today or go to QuickenLoans.com. That's 800-QUICKEN.
Visit JDPower.com for award information. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org. Number 3030.
Calling all business owners. Are you running your business without being incorporated? If you answered yes, you are now eligible to incorporate in just 10 minutes. It's a quick incorporation event from Incorporate.com, designed to save small business owners from the risk of losing everything. Just call this number for your free 10-minute incorporation guide, 1-800-300-5124. If you're not incorporated, it's not just your business that can be sued, it's you too, which means you could lose everything. Your home, your car, even your life savings. That's why small business owners across the country are now scrambling to incorporate during this event. Call now for your free 10-minute incorporation guide while supplies last. 1-800-300-5124. Incorporate.com doesn't provide legal or financial advice. They just make incorporating or forming an LLC quick and easy. But hurry and call now while they're still giving these 10-minute incorporation guides away for free. Call 1-800-300-5124. That's 1-800-300-5124.
So, for the past 8 years, you've wanted to sell your home but couldn't because you were underwater. Well, thankfully, those days are over. Almost every town in the Chicagoland area is experiencing a strong seller market. I'm John Wright with the Wright Real Estate Group of Keller Williams, and we have ready, willing, and able buyers and not enough homes to offer them. So if you've been thinking about a move across town or a move out of Illinois to a more tax-friendly environment, give me a call. We promise to give you an honest, professional, and experienced opinion on the value of your home. If you like what you hear and feel we're a good fit, let's do business. And if not, we'll still part as friends. The spring market is off to a busy start, so give me a call at 630-202-7241. I look forward to getting to know you.
Call John Wright and the Wright Real Estate Group of Keller Williams at 630-202-7241 or visit WrightRealEstateGroup.com. They'll get you moving at the speed of right.
At 5:57, snow showers and 25 degrees. Let's check the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
It's slow going, Mike, on the expressways. The Edens is 37 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 40. Kennedy, now an hour from O'Hare to downtown, outbound 45 minutes. The Eisenhower, an hour and 2 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. If you can work from home, do it. Outbound Got a 4-car crash at North Avenue, just past North Avenue, the left lane. Hour and 18 minutes downtown to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 4 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 45 minutes. The Ryan, more routine, 21 minutes, 95th to downtown. It's rough at the north end of the tri-state, southbound especially, with delays from Russell to 41. Crash in the left lane, 120 to 137. And as well from Gulf to the Adams Tollway, eastbound Adams and Reagan Tollways, very heavy. Traffic service of Staples. Staples has all you need for your business at low prices, like paper, ink, and toner, even office furniture and technology. Right now, get up to $150 off HP laptops and desktops. Ends 3/18/17. Restrictions may apply. Staples, make more happen. See store or staples.com for details. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues after a full update from Fox News. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Lake effect snow warning until 4 p.m. Snow showers, bringing the storm total snowfall amount to 4 to 8 inches. Breezy day today with gusts up to 30 miles per hour, high today of 26. For tonight, clear and frigid with a low of 15. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
At 5:59, here are the stories we're following on AM 560, The Answer. Parts of the Chicago area could make up for this winter's missing snow just about in one day, as the National Weather Service says up to 10 inches of snow will fall on parts of Cook Lake and DuPage County. Officially this morning in Gurnee, 8 inches of snow already on the ground. 7 are hurt following 2 major crashes causing massive pileups on the Kennedy Expressway involving 35 cars. 1 person hospitalized in serious to critical condition. 1 person in custody after a suspected gang member was shot by another, and then another was struck by a car outside a suburban Walmart in Bedford Park. Cactus League play. We'll forget about the snow for a moment and dream about the Cubs, who captured a 3-1 win over the Padres, while the White Sox beat the Indians 9-5. At 5:59, more Dan and Amy after Fox News, WIND Chicago News Time, 6 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. It is snowing in the Northeast, and they're going to get a lot of it.
It's still wintertime. Absolutely. So, it's no surprise.
She's taking it in stride in New York City under a blizzard warning that stretches from Pennsylvania to Maine. Some areas could get 2 feet of snow.
Whiteout conditions and bitter cold temps. We've weathered these conditions many times before. 4,000 pieces of equipment could be on Massachusetts highways at the storm's peak, 780 in the city of Boston alone. But officials urge drivers to stay off the roads altogether, and residents are heeding that advice, stocking up and staying in.
That's Christine McCarthy with Fox 25 TV in Boston. Driving was treacherous in the snow in Chicago. 2 crashes were chain reaction pileups last night. 34 vehicles got tangled up. 7 people suffered minor injuries. There's no flying to or from the Northeast. Thousands of flights are canceled, but it's a great day for kids who get to play in the snow with schools closed throughout the region. Democrats have fresh ammunition trying to stop the House Republican bill to replace Obamacare. A Congressional Budget Office report showed that as many as 14 million Americans would lose coverage next year, though some might opt for that because the bill would get rid of the mandate to have coverage.
The bill spends almost twice as much on tax cuts for the wealthy compared to tax credits to help older middle-class Americans afford health insurance.
That's Democratic Senate Leader Chuck Schumer. Republicans say the CBO report also shows that the bill would cut the deficit by more than $300 billion and over time would reduce premiums for many. The Federal Reserve will start a meeting today for 2 days, expected to produce a 3rd interest rate hike in 15 months at the end of the meeting tomorrow. This is Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
Do you own or run a business in Illinois that succeeded in this challenging economic environment? If so, we want to hear about it. AM 560's Business Tour 2017, presented by Signature Bank, will be highlighting business success stories. Tell us your story and be a part of a live broadcast of Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy. Find out more and submit your information at 560theanswer.com/business. That's 560theanswer.com/business.
Writing job descriptions, sifting through resumes, setting up interviews. Hiring's hard, but Indeed.com makes it easier. Post your job, manage candidates, schedule interviews, all on Indeed. And since independent research shows that Indeed delivers 5 times more hires than any other job site, easy works. Right now, we're giving new users a $50 credit to post a sponsored job on the world's #1 job site. Claim your $50 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
What's that noise?
That's the home security guy. He's installing our alarms.
You're gonna be safe as clams when I'm done drilling this sucker in.
Yeah, maybe we should have gone with Simply Safe.
The neighbors love theirs. They set it up in half an hour. No drilling, no wires, no installation fee. And 24/7 professional monitoring is only $15 a month with no long-term contracts.
I'll just pop a rug over this hole. It'll be fine.
Go to simplysafe.com/radio now to get free shipping on your order and a free keychain remote worth $25. Simplysafe.com/radio.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Ayn Rand Institute and the Yaron Brook Show. Heard Saturday afternoons at 4 here on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So the CBO scoring of the House Republican plan, it's not just the House Republican plan, it's the president's plan too, to replace Obamacare was issued yesterday, and it's got a little bit something for everyone. The key takeaway and the talking point you'll hear repeated incessantly for the next, the next 18 months.
Forever?
This will be, assuming that it passes in some form or fashion and the replacement is implemented in some form or fashion over the next couple of months, this will be one of the Democrats' talking points going into the 2018 election, which is that the plan leaves 14 million people uninsured next year and up to 24 by 2026.
In 10 years,
Yeah. So the question is, on this score, before we delve deeper into it, the question is that the right metric to use to measure the quality of health care policy as it relates to health insurance, the number of people that are not quote-unquote covered? Is that the right way to look at it? Is that the right test to apply? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. The response from the White House was swift and specific and started with HHS Secretary Tom Price, who had this to say in response.
There are 8 million people, 9 million people who are on the exchange currently. I'm not sure how they're going to get to 14 million people uninsured, if that's what they say, with only 8 million people on the exchange. There are individuals, I guess, that they assume that are on Medicaid who aren't paying anything in the Medicaid system, who are going to not take the Medicaid policy just because the mandate ended or something happened. It's just not believable is what we would suggest. And we'll look at the numbers and see.
Not believable. That's also what President Trump had to say, essentially. And then Price went on to make this claim about the plan that's making its way through the House.
Secretary, without that mandate to buy coverage, would you not concede that millions of people will not have insurance under this plan?
No, I wouldn't concede that at all.
You
because
would not say millions of people are going to lose
no, because the fact of the matter is they're going to be able to buy a coverage policy that they want for themselves and for their family. They're going to have the kind of choices that they want. You think about the numbers that the top line, just the top line on CBO report today. It basically says that we'll be right back at pre-Obamacare status with about 40 million people uninsured in this country. We believe that the plan that we're putting in place is going to insure more individuals than currently are insured. So we think that CBO simply has it wrong.
Well,
so he says the CBO has it wrong, but the CBO is nonpartisan group, and Tom Price appointed the head of the CBO. Is it that they just didn't have enough time to look at all of the Healthcare Reform Act?
No, it's that they do static analyses. Here's
They're actuaries.
Well, yeah. Here's the CBO's record. Why don't we go to the record on this specific issue? The CBO projected that Obamacare would result in an average of 201 million people having private health insurance in any given month of 2016. 2016 came, and the CBO said 177 million people on average had private health insurance in any given month of 2016, which is a shortfall of 24 million people. How about that symmetry? 24 million people will be not covered by 2026 under the plan that's being advanced by Republicans, and Obamacare fell short by 24 million people from CBO's own projections by the year 2016. In 2013, the CBO projected that without Obamacare, 186 million people would be covered by private health insurance in 2016. The CBO then said in 2016 that with Obamacare, 177 million people will be covered. In other words, it would appear that 9 million people have lost their private health insurance plans thanks to Obamacare. And if you break it down from there, 5 million employer-based plans, 4 million having lost their individually purchased plans. So Trump has a point when he says, the press is, as Obamacare goes away, I mean, it's collapsing under its own weight, but as we move towards a replacement, now everybody's waxing nostalgic about those glory days of Obamacare. It's a catastrophe.
There were no glory days. I was with my friend yesterday. She's a hairdresser, so she has to buy her own insurance. And she bought into Obamacare because she wants to be compliant with the law. And it was $207 a month, Dan, the premium. Then it jumped to $297. Now it's at $501. And her deductible is $8,000. And she's healthy. She's like, why would I even buy it? What's in it for me? And according to the CBO report, the premiums would go down anywhere from 10 to 15% at first.
By 2026.
Yeah, but still, I mean, is it even worth having insurance then? Because she said, well, now with this new, American Health Care Act, I won't be penalized if I don't have insurance. So why would I buy into the system?
Well,
I mean, she has a point because that's a car payment. I mean, or more than a car payment, $501 a month for nothing. She gets nothing in exchange for that.
Well, CBO's
dinged on her taxes.
CBO's report said of the people, the 14 million people that would be left uncovered under the GOP bill by end of next year, most they conceded would be the result of their own decision. Okay. It's not that they can't access health insurance; it's that they choose not to. And this is what Jason Chaffetz said, Republican from Utah, said yesterday about hey. Your life, your choices.
We're getting rid of the individual mandate. We're getting rid of those things that people said that they don't want. And you know what? Americans have choices, and they've got to make a choice. And so maybe rather than getting that new iPhone that they just love and they want to go spend hundreds of dollars on that, maybe they should invest in their own health care. They've got to make those decisions themselves.
What about that? Does that seem fair?
It's good to have a choice.
And you're an adult, and we're going to treat you like an adult. If you want to make the iPhone choice over the health insurance choice, I mean, now, of course, there's a 30% surcharge as percentage of premium if you
want to get back into the system.
Right. You pay a penalty.
Out for a few months. But then there's that age tax, too. So people 50 to 64 who make below $30,000 are going to have to pay more.
The other important number here is on the deficit. Remember, once upon a time, and you have a lot of people on the left who identify themselves as fiscal conservatives, which they're not, of course, but they identify themselves as such, and they are sometimes budget hawks, budget deficit hawks, and sometimes they're not. Well, the Republican health care plan, according to the CBO, if you want to take all their numbers at face value, which I don't, but let's operate from that premise for the sake of argument, would reduce deficits by $337 billion over the next decade through 2026 by reducing the Obamacare spend and reducing the Obamacare taxes. They reduce spending by about 50% more than the reduction in taxes. So more spending cuts than tax relief, which is a positive step as well, directionally correct. I want to go back, though, and answer my own question about the metric. The, 14, because this is what's going to be repeated ad nauseum. 14 million people, 24 million people. One, we've just established, and the CBO concedes that it's mostly by choice. Two, is that the right way to measure it? I mean, we could cover everybody, cover, quote unquote, as if that's the only thing. Cover. It's like throwing people on Medicaid, but then not paying Medicaid providers so the people on Medicaid actually see their access to quality care worsen. Has that been a positive development for you? If you're, but I'm covered. I'm covered, but I don't have insurance.
You
I'm
have to
covered.
wait 6 months to see your doctor.
Right. I'm covered, but I don't get the medical care that I need. So it's the same thing here. We could cover everybody in the country, cover them, in quotations, tomorrow. Single payer. You want to do single payer? How's your experience been with a backdoor single payer, Obamacare? You want to do what the Democrats want to do, push everybody into the Medicaid system? Why don't you take a walk around the Medicaid system? The worst health care you can get. It's essentially health insurance of last resort. So, the whole kind of obsession about coverage, it's an artificial metric. It doesn't say anything about choice, quality, or cost.
Right. And according to Paul Ryan, President Trump, you're going to have a choice to see the doctor that you want to be seen by.
Well, actually, I think if you read this entire report, I'm pretty encouraged by it, and it actually exceeded my expectations. We're saying the government's not going to force people to buy something they don't want to buy. And if we end an Obamacare mandate that says you must buy this government one-size-fits-all plan, guess what? People aren't going to buy that.
Let's take a couple callers here. Greg in Schaumburg, here on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, Dan and Amy. I would offer that the whole OMB's history of being able to diagnose things accurately is extraordinarily flawed. Go back to that Sunday when they passed and rammed it through the House. And incidentally, Jesse Jackson was heading up the emceeing things from the dais there. But what happened is the Stupak 7, if you recall, were waiting to get an OMB report, which was released around noontime, and it came out, and it's documented, of course, that it was going to save money. Those numbers were blown out the door immediately upon Obamacare going into effect.
Yeah, thanks for the call,
Like you
Greg.
were talking about, Dan.
Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. Good point. Jordan in Forest Park.
The ACA could be looked at as basically a Medicaid expansion and only secondarily an impact on the private insurance market. You've got roughly 10 million people have been newly insured under Medicaid, but only probably 5 to 6 million additional that have private insurance. And that's because many of the people that are on the exchanges getting subsidies had private insurance before.
Right.
So basically, there hasn't been a big impact. Maybe 5 or 6 million newly insured, maybe 10. Not a big deal. It's really a failure. I think what part of the problem with the Ryan bill is that it doesn't act quickly enough. Even the CBO said after 2022 or whatever, things improve. Why not improve it immediately? And I would say do this. Let's say leave it up to Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois to come up with new plans right now, and people can apply for them right now. Maybe it's a streamlined plan or whatever. Don't wait, because you've got this 2018 election coming up. You need to do something now, not 2 or 3 years from now.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Jordan. I mean, I agree with the fierce urgency of now, to borrow a social justice phraseology. Yeah, no, I agree, which is why, even though this is not optimal, what's been proposed by Republicans, it advances the flag. And here's the thing. The other thing, just with the CBO number, because, again, the left is going to obsess about this, and the D.C. press corps will amplify their obsession. The static analysis. So a lot of the people that will not be covered with the Medicaid expansion rollback will still have access to tax credits, essentially a subsidy,
yeah,
to purchase health insurance if they want to. Right? It's just the individual mandate is gone. So, how individuals, the incentive structure that's presented and then the choices they make, difficult to predict, but the opportunity will be there for those that want health insurance. And remember, the group of most concern, the most complicated group, persons with pre-existing conditions, are covered. That is retained. So the hysteria of the left seems to be misplaced, other than that their forever clarion call, which is your entitlement program, Republicans, isn't as big as we want the entitlement program to be.
And didn't the CBO have a similar report on Obamacare that 14 million people would be uncovered or uninsured by Obamacare?
Well, they miss. Well, right. I mean, ultimately, there's still going to be some people that were left uncovered, mostly because they, didn't want to be covered,
Right.
they flaunted the individual mandate. Kevin in Long Grove, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, guys. Listen, my understanding is that the insurance companies basically made a deal with the government where we'll create these plans, we'll push your agenda, and the government said, okay, so we're going to give you X amount of money if you go forward with it. Well, the insurance companies started becoming insolvent, and they turned to the federal government and said, hey, we need that money now. The federal government said, nope, we don't have any money, figure it out. So I don't care if you're a Democrat, Republican, if the government's not going to keep their word, no insurance plan will ever succeed. Thank you, guys.
Thanks for the call, Kevin. Well, I mean, here's the lesson from that for those big insurance companies that helped write Obamacare and advance it. It's just you live by the government, you die by the government. Get out of the business of rent seeking, and you won't have to worry about those exigencies.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Weather's a big deal today, anywhere from 3 to 10 inches, believe it or not, because we have this lake effect snow warning here until 4 o'clock this afternoon, so it's going to keep coming down. And we're going to have a high of just 26 degrees. Then tonight, becoming clear, a low of 15. And tomorrow, sunshine, no snow, a few high clouds, but cold, a high of 31 degrees. Let's get to it. The busiest man around today is Jim Telemonte, who joins us in our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
It's pretty rough in Buffalo Grove. 22 at Prairie. Rail crossing gates are stuck down. Also on Buffalo Grove Road near Port Clinton. Joliet, US 6 closed. Between Briggs and Gauger, had a crash. Travel times are shooting through the roof. The Kennedy, hour and 20 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. This is just due to the snow. Outbound, it's 57 minutes. The Eden's 40 minutes. Lake Hook to Montrose. Outbound 49 with crashes at Wilson and at Toohey. The Eisenhower, an hour and 20 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. Outbound an hour 27. Traffic's at a standstill from the Reagan all the way to past North Avenue after a crash. Stevenson, an hour and 15 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 50 minutes. Ryan, 21 minutes. 95th to downtown. Eastbound Adams Tollway, a solid mess from Elmhurst Road to the Kennedy. Tri-State slow southbound 120 to 137 and Gulf to the Adams Tollway. Reagan Tollway bottled up from 83 to the Eisenhower. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Hello, everyone, and here we go again with Karen Lewis and the Chicago Teachers Union demanding more money from the Chicagoland taxpayers. Well, I say enough is enough. The teachers get paid from the property taxes that homeowners pay every year. If the teachers union gets more money, that means your property taxes are going to go higher. This is Tom Marabali, your health insurance advocate and independent representative for Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois and other health insurance carriers. For months now, I have been telling you about purchasing health savings account PPO plans that will cost you approximately 40% less in monthly premiums than you're currently paying now. Well, the same thing applies to the teachers union. I can show the union that they can purchase a more comprehensive health insurance plan that is in full compliance with the Affordable Care Act and will cost the taxpayers up to 40% less in monthly health insurance premiums. For more information, you can call me at 630-863-3477. That's 630-863-3477.
You're the one that gets it done. The person your friends call to see if you can fix it. Brakes? No biggie. Shocks and struts? Simple and straightforward. The catalytic converter heat shield? Come on. If it has wheels, you can make it go. But not having the right part can bring your project to a screeching halt. Problem solved with MyPartsGarage.com. My Parts Garage is not a big box store that needs to wait to get a part in. My Parts Garage is the warehouse that sells wholesale to you. They own the inventory, so your part is always in stock. But wait, there's more. Like free shipping within 24 hours, in-state next-day delivery, or pick it up today at the warehouse. Plus, the customer service is seriously awesome. So the last thing you need to do is drive fast and furiously to find auto parts. With the average driver in Chicago commuting at least 24 miles per day, people are spending more hours in their car than they do at home. Drivers need you, the mechanic. You need MyPartsGarage.com. Lowest prices guaranteed.
If you could quickly and painlessly clear your psoriasis or vitiligo, would you?
No matter how big the psoriasis is, no matter how small the psoriasis, we can help you.
Ashley is a clinical specialist for Extract, the amazing in-office treatment for psoriasis and vitiligo that's clinically proven to show immediate results with up to 95% clearance.
What my patients love most about the Extract treatments is it's safe, it's FDA cleared, and they're seeing results very quickly.
End the embarrassing, painful patches and discoloration with Extract. There's no medications, no topical ointments, and virtually no side effects. Extract uses light to transform your skin and change your life. It's covered by all major insurances and Medicare, and will help you find a doctor close by.
I love what I do. I love coming in every day and making a difference in patients' lives. It's amazing.
Call now to live Extract Clear. Call 800-961-9279. That's 800-961-9279. 800-961-9279 or visit xtracradio.com. Qualified patients, certain restrictions apply.
AM 560.
If you're talking about it, I'll be talking about it. Dennis Prager here. Join me this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Hey, we just found out from Mike Scott, 14 inches of snow in Gurnee, 10 inches in Northbrook.
Yeah.
And this isn't going to stop until 4 o'clock this afternoon. So the snow totals are going up. And Keith Conrad, we're glad he's okay. He had a spin out this morning. He did a 360 on the Arlington Heights Road exit.
It's fun.
It's
fun to do a donut. Yeah.
Unplanned donuts are the
Donuts
best.
are fun.
So leave plenty of extra time.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, okay. Thanks, Mom.
It's Chicago. It snows.
Wear your snow boots.
Grow up and don't listen to Tom Skilling and all these weather people that are off by a factor of 5 in the amount of snowfall.
I would be happy if snowplows were out before 6 in the morning because there's a lot of people on the roads early in the morning and they forgot about us.
Yeah, it's like a toboggan ride on the
don't care.
Kennedy. So I've got competition here. The worst idea. Oh, you got two choices. Choice A, bake sale to fund CPS. Alliance Bakery in Wicker Park is inspired by Chance the Rapper, lighting $1 million of his money on fire by sending it to CPS. So they want to light some of theirs on fire, too. Each cookie, it's a Chance the Rapper cookie. Each cookie, the Cookie Monster. They sell dollars being donated to Social Works, Chance the Rapper's nonprofit group that seeks to empower youth through blah blah blah. So that's the bakery wants to sell 5,000 cookies by the end of the CPS school year.
Well, they better hurry up because the school year might be shorter than planned.
To create $10,000, which is super. To fund. So that's one thing. Bake sale to save CPS.
We had a bake sale at our church. Guess how much we raised? $26,000 for our friends in South Sudan.
The well-heeled, sophisticated barbarians at your cult.
Yes. But I'm just saying that was off of one bake sale. So
that's very.
they could do better.
I'm really impressed.
You
really
should
impressed.
be.
And I know,
the pound cake was wonderful this year.
But I'll tell you what, I'm nowhere near as impressed with your friends as they are with themselves. I know that. Here's the more serious suggestion of a terrible idea.
Uh-huh.
New York City, the State Board of Regents is poised to adopt a recommendation to get rid of a literacy test for teachers.
Ooh.
And you know why? Because too many non-white individuals are failing the literacy test, therefore weakening diversity within the profession. We want high standards, without a doubt. Professor of Education at Pace University, who's a part of the task force that came up with this recommendation, said, not every given test is going to get us there. This reminds me of the test. Is it been suspended in Chicago, too? Probably. But I remember a story in the Sun-Times about a decade ago that essentially the basic skills test that was administered to CPS teachers, something so simple that a high school freshman should be able to pass it, and 1 in 10 teachers in CPS failed it, which turns out to be a small percentage, but a big raw number, 3,000 teachers that have a disproportionate effect on the students that run through their classrooms at some point in their academic careers and who are not prepared to impart knowledge onto children.
Well, we get a lot of letters from teachers, and they're grammatically incorrect.
So
One I couldn't even read, and I gave it to our program director, Marcus Brown, and he was floored.
Well, we always we are told and taught from the social justice left, the P-hat posse, to genuflect before the notion of diversity. Diversity at any cost? Is diversity the highest order? So we are going to sacrifice competency for diversity. So next time you hear somebody doing what I'm describing, genuflecting before that word and that notion, which I'm fine. I mean, it occurs in the natural world. It doesn't need government assistance. That's the whole fallacy of the left's argument. But it requires a little bit of looking below the top line, doesn't it? Diversity at what price? Don't we want the best teachers for kids? Or is it okay to just have teaching in big urban centers like New York and Chicago be a jobs program? But we care about the diversity of the student body and the people outside CPS or outside the New York City public schools that would never send their kids to public schools, those public schools, and those include, by the way, a lot of the teachers in the systems. It's okay if those children get shortchanged. But at the same time, the left is saying we're proponents of diversity and we're proponents of opportunities for minorities that they don't have. But we're going to leave them in terrible schools, and we're going to give some people jobs they don't deserve because they're not competent to do the job. And then we're going to feel good about them ourselves while we destroy the educational opportunities for children. That logic, in one sentence, sums up the modern left.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
If you're missing teeth or even a single tooth, dental implants are a fantastic way to regain your confidence, your smile, your dental health. Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. You hear a lot of people screaming at you about dental implants. Get it done in a day, or we can treat everybody, or hundreds of thousands of implants. Look, successful implants don't come from an implant factory. What you don't hear talked about is skill, treatment, and installation. These are what make for successful lifelong implants. And that's why you need to see Dr. Norouzi at Fox River Periodontics. Dr. Norouzi is the recommended choice of dentists that don't do implants. You need the experience, skill, and honesty that 24 years of dental implants brings.
This is Dr. Norouzi. I personally guarantee your happiness with your implants.
Call Fox River Periodontics, 630-232-7400, 630-232-7400, or just remember, implantsforme.com, implantsforme.com.
Hello, human. It's me, your dog. I know your car battery died, so you couldn't make it home on time, but I just wanted to let you know that everything is A-okay. I made you a couple presents. You know, the kind you pick up in a plastic bag? Yeah, I put one right on your pillow. I figured that'd be the best place for you to find it. Also, the couch needed a little shredding, so I took care of that, too. Also, I ate the mail. Who's a good boy? I am.
Make sure you'll be there. Get a car battery test today. Find a location at interstatebatteries.com. Interstate Batteries. Outrageously dependable.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Don't miss Scott's Days at Ace. It's our biggest lawn and garden sale of the spring. So before you get to work on your yard, head into Ace now to save on Scott's, Miracle-Gro, Roundup, Ortho, and more. Now through Monday only, stock up and save over $600 on select Scott's products across the store. And as always, the help is free. Spring is here, and that means so are Scott's Days. Only at your local Ace. Offers valid through March 20th at participating stores. Includes instant savings offers for Ace Rewards members. See store for details.
AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer,
Congressman Steve King defends his culture comment at 6:36.
and later a Texas law would outlaw male masturbation. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. 23 degrees, heavy snow showers in the area. President Trump giving the CIA more authority to conduct drone strikes against suspected terrorists. Wall Street Journal reporting the president is expanding the limited paramilitary role the Obama administration allowed the spy agency. The Trump administration failed to meet Monday's deadline to provide any evidence to support the president's accusation that phones at Trump Tower were ordered tapped by the administration of former President Barack Obama. The Justice Department said it needs more time to respond. 6,000 flights canceled this morning. Biggest school district in America closed because of a blizzard bearing down on the Northeast. 50 million people in 8 states are under that blizzard warning. Pirates have hijacked an oil tanker off the coast of Somalia. First hijacking of a large commercial vessel on that crucial global trade route since 2012. An estimated 14 million could lose health coverage next year under the American Health Care Act. That's according to the findings of the Congressional Budget Office, which says that number could grow to 21 million by 2020. That drew the ire of Vermont Independent Senator Bernie Sanders.
If this legislation is passed and millions of people are thrown off of health insurance, not able to get to a doctor when they must, thousands of Americans will die. That's what this legislation is about, and it must be defeated.
However, the Secretary of Health and Human Services is rejecting the CBO report on the Republican plan. Dr. Tom Price hints the CBO report was too narrow to begin with.
The CBO looked at a portion of our plan, but not the entire plan. In fact, the entire plan includes the regulatory apparatus that we've got the ability to use at Health and Human Services that the previous administration used significantly, but we want to use it to make certain that patients are helped and that costs are decreased.
Price noting there are over 10 million people who do have health insurance coverage but can't get to a doctor. Parts of the Chicago area will make up for this winter's missing snow in one day. The National Weather Service says a lake effect snow warning is up until 4 today. Heavy snow will fall in Cook Lake and parts of DuPage counties. 7 are hurt following crashes involving a massive pileup on the Kennedy Expressway involving 35 cars. One person is in custody after a suspected gang member was shot. Another struck by a vehicle outside a Walmart in suburban Bedford Park. And an icon is being deflated today. Goodyear letting the helium out of the last of its fabled blimps. Shed no tears, blimp fans. You'll still see the familiar form floating over your favorite golf event long after the California-based Spirit of Innovation literally goes flat this morning. Its replacement, Wingfoot 2, will look about the same when it arrives at Goodyear's California Airship Base later this year, but it will be a semi-rigid dirigible. Joins 2 similar aircraft replacing the aging Goodyear blimps in Florida and Ohio. And Goodyear says they will still be called blimps because, well, blimp just sounds better. Cubs beat the Padres in Cactus League play. White Sox trimmed the Tribe. Bulls over the Hornets 115-109. The news service of NBC's Trial and Error tonight on NBC. Don't miss the premiere of the new comedy Trial and Error, starring 5-time Emmy winner John Lithgow. It's a murder mystery wrapped in a comedy. Trial and Error following The Voice and the must-see season finale of This Is Us tonight on NBC. 6:35 is our time. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager believes Israel is in a unique position in more ways than one.
The anti-Israel hatred at the UN is unique. More resolutions passed against Israel than against all other entities combined in the Middle East. Israel is supposed to make peace with people who want it destroyed. It's not something. What exactly do we talk about?
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, a family tradition since 1897.
Hello, human. It's me, your dog. I know your car battery died, so you couldn't make it home on time, but I just wanted to let you know that everything is A-okay. I made you a couple presents. You know, the kind you pick up in a plastic bag? Yeah, I put one right on your pillow. I figured that'd be the best place for you to find it. Also, the couch needed a little shredding, so I took care of that, too. Also, I ate the mail. Who's a good boy? I am.
Make sure you'll be there. Get a car battery test today. Find a location at interstatebatteries.com. Interstate Batteries. Outrageously dependable.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Don't miss Scott's Days at Ace. It's our biggest lawn and garden sale of the spring. So before you get to work on your yard, head into Ace now to save on Scott's, Miracle-Gro, Roundup, Ortho, and more. Now through Monday only, stock up and save over $600 on select Scott's products across the store. And as always, the help is free. Spring is here, and that means so are Scott's Days. Only at your local Ace. Offers valid through March 20th at participating stores. Includes instant savings offers for Ace Rewards members. See store for details.
6:37, a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The inbound Kennedy is an hour and 21 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 36 minutes from Montrose, 29 in the Express. Outbound 57 to the airport. Eden's 40 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 49. Numbers all due to the snow. The Eisenhower, an hour and 20 minutes. Thorndale to downtown, an hour or two from Manheim. Outbound, the worst is on the extension after a crash past North Avenue. An hour and 27 minutes post office to Thorndale. Northbound I-55 delay starter on Weber, and it's an hour and 32 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 54 minutes. The Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Lakeshore Drive northbound, heavy haze to 57th, traffic signal problem. Southbound, getting a little heavier on Fullerton, really not bad. Tri-State, southbound is very slow, 120 to 137, and Gulf to the Adams Tollway. Northbound jammed, 147th to Archer, Reagan Tollway to the Ike, Adams Tollway jammed, Elmhurst Road to the Kennedy. Seeing delays on the eastbound Reagan and northbound Veterans Memorial now. Traffic service of Staples. Staples has all you need for your business at low prices like paper, ink, and toner, even office furniture and technology. Right now, get up to $150 off HP laptops and desktops. Ends 3/18/17. Restrictions may apply. Staples, make more happen. See store or staples.com for details. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Cloudy, breezy, cold. A lake effect snow warning is in effect until 4 this afternoon. High of 26. Snowfall totals in this morning in Downers Grove. 5 inches of snow officially at the moment. 5.6 inches of snow for our friends in Elk Grove Village. 21 at O'Hare. Next news at 7. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Power Trading Radio. Heard Sundays at 2 p.m. Brought to you each week by Online Trading Academy.
Your money. Find out how to keep more of it and live debt-free. Tonight on The Dave Ramsey Show, starting at 7 on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. U.S. News and World Report has their best governed states list out. Number 1 in the nation, best governed state. This according to 4 measurements: fiscal stability, budget transparency, government digitalization, and state integrity. Number 1 in the nation, which will come as a great surprise to 45th Ward Alderman John Arena, who is critical of people suggesting they're going to move to Indiana from Illinois because of the catastrophe this failed state is, calling it a third world economy with S-blank-itty schools and...
horribly rude.
Yeah.
Where's the uproar? Where are the politicians in Indiana pushing back?
Well, it's percolating. You'll not be surprised to learn they don't pay a lot of attention to what some feudal lord in Chicago says about them. They just enjoy their success. And they're number 1 in the nation, according to U.S. News and World Report, best governed state.
Yeah. They enjoy their low property taxes, their fine schools. John Arena, or what is his name?
Yeah, that's his name. Illinois, not on the list because it's no longer considered a state.
Hey-o.
Did you ever see the Onion piece on Adam Dunn? Remember Adam Dunn, the slugger for the White Sox?
Oh, yeah.
He signed a $50 million contract to hit like $160 with 14 homers.
Yeah. And how many RBIs did he have?
There was a great Onion story that said Adam Dunn no longer considered a Major League Baseball player. He's now a participant. That's kind of like Illinois. We're no longer a state. We're a territory that participates in the United States of America.
We could be a territory of Indiana. No, they wouldn't want us. Territory of Wisconsin.
I have, you've on this show, when we've had Indiana governors, when we had Governor Scott Walker on, I have implored them to scramble their respective National Guards, invade, and take us over. Annex us, please. But there's no takers.
Yeah. No, we'll leave you guys alone.
Well,
you can fend for yourselves.
Well, one of the reasons this is the worst run state in the nation, it's not limited to state government.
Mm-hmm.
It's layers and layers and layers of government. And that includes local government. And oh, by the way, I know this isn't exciting and as sexy as Trump's latest pronouncement or legitimate federal concerns like health insurance policy in this country. I get it. But again, to be repetitive on this topic, the government closest to you is the one that impacts you most often and most directly on a daily basis. All you have to do is look at your property tax bill. So April 4th is another local election. And we talked about a couple of local elections in advance of the February 28th primary election. Here's one to talk about in advance of the April 4th local election, which is a microcosm of Illinois, the same way that the Algonquin Township Highway Department Commissioner race, right, with Bob Miller.
How is the Miller family doing?
I'm sure they're still counting their money, even though he got deposed thanks to Andrew Gosser and people who had enough in Algonquin Township of aristocracy at the highway department.
We're still waiting for you to call in, Bob Miller.
Yeah, right. He really wants to talk to us.
I'm going to not hold my breath anymore, but yeah.
Well, so that's a microcosm of Illinois. You know, guy, one family controlling a highway department for 50 years, $400,000 worth of family on the payroll.
And they make YouTube videos down their lunch breaks with guns and cars.
Right, turning public property into a shooting gallery, all of those excesses. Well, here's another microcosm of Illinois. This is Orland Park, the village of. This is the mayor's race there, Mayor Dan McLaughlin, who's been there for 24 years. And this is really bubbled to the surface after McLaughlin, with the approval of the village board, it wasn't to him alone, increased his salary from $40,000 a year to $150,000 a year if he's elected on April 4th. They increased the salary for the mayor last fall on the last day to do it so that it would be effective prospectively for the next term. And what would happen for Dan McLaughlin is his starting pension, if he served one term, would be $110,000 a year instead of $30,000 a year. So if he retired today, 30 years of 30 years of receiving pension benefits at that level, he would be worth about $5.2 million in pension payments, plus his taxpayer-funded health care benefits. So the idea of setting yourself up to have a 7-figure pension, I mean, this is a big one, for life, all of the sudden, Orland Park, as Dan McLaughlin nears the end of his career, all of a sudden they need a full-time mayor. Like, you can't get a full-time mayor for $40,000. But they need a full-time mayor, and he's going to do the job of 10 men, or some other silly argument that he's making, and that justifies nearly quadrupling his salary. But, of course, it has nothing to do with nearly quadrupling his pension for the next 25 to 30 years of his life. And then the next trustee, who's got 15 or 20 or 25 years in, will follow him, and they'll jack their pension based on their last best salary for 4 years or however long at $150,000.
He needs some money because in Orland Park, the mayor is also the liquor commissioner.
Yeah, that's every community.
Every community, really?
Yeah, yes.
That's a job.
Here's what I've heard from some people around. Like, well, Dan McLaughlin's done a good job. Has he? Let's look at it. In addition to your property values, which we've talked about. Now, I know that's primarily your property taxes, and thus your property values is directly connected to school spend, but local units of government matter too. But what's going on in Orland Park below the fold that maybe you haven't been paying attention to? And by the way, as I said, this is a microcosm. This is a microcosm of your community. I will almost guarantee you, not every community in Illinois, but a whole host of them. All you have to do is scratch below the surface to look at the real financial balance sheet of your village or city, and I suspect you're going to see some of the same things we see here in Orland Park, which is a nice community, but here's the thing. 2 decades after Dan McLaughlin's, 2 decades into Dan McLaughlin's tenure, I should say, and some $234 million in debt later.
Oh.
Yeah. The bill is coming due. McLaughlin was, in 1998, McLaughlin was midway through his second term in office. Orland Park had 47,000 people, 742 employees, and $14 million in municipal debt. That's the state comptroller's office numbers. Fast forward 17 years, in his 6th term, it has a population of 56,000 people, 1,057 employees on its payroll, and has $119 million in debt. So that's debt increase almost of a factor of 10. 19% more people, 42% more government employees, 725% more debt between 98 and 2015. What about that? Look next door in Tinley Park, similarly situated community. Tinley Park grew 25% in population, about the same as Orland Park, about the same period, 45,000 to 56,000. Has only 427 employees on its payroll.
That's a big difference.
Yeah, that's about a third. $31 million in municipal debt, about a fourth of its nearly identical neighbor, Orland Park. Orland Park residents owe another $119.2 million in pension debts for retirees because of the large increase in village payroll, which, of course, that would include McLaughlin's were he to get elected and enjoy his new salary and his forthcoming pension benefits as a result. Oh, by the way, the property tax levy, the last decade in Orland Park, just for the village and the library, not talking about schools, just for the village and the library, what they have control over, increased 55%.
Whoa.
So tell me again how it's going, and that this is a performance that should be rewarded with a quadrupling of a salary and a $5 million pension? Really? And by the way, right next door, Tinley Park, to my point about not every community is that way. There's some that are doing right. Tinley Park has done a much better job over the same period of time. Can be done. Chris and Homer Glen, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, yeah, my work experience had me working for a school district for 6 years, and while I was there, I saw it very common that people would give the school district 3 years' notice of their expected date of retirement.
Yep.
Each of those 3 years enjoying a 20% pay increase, effectively allowing their pensions to rise to the point at the date of retirement of the salary they had been making just 4 years prior.
Yep, that's right. Thanks for the call, Chris. No, that's the pension spiking has been a problem for a long time in Illinois. It's one of the reasons we have the largest unfunded pension liabilities in the country at the state level. And you see the same thing at the local level, which is why a lot of municipalities, actually, if you look at their books, because of these liabilities they're incurring, the debt they're incurring, they're functionally bankrupt. So what about that? I mean, the scamming of you, Joe Sixpack, Sally Housecoat, middle-income family that works in the private sector. You care about this? You care enough to show up on April 4th?
Who's running against them?
A local businessman named Keith Pekow, Orland Park businessman. He has a landscaping company. Mike on the north side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, thanks for taking my call.
You're
One
welcome.
trick that a lot of these suburbanites do when they're running these villages, they'll keep the mayoral salary low, but they'll appoint themselves as liquor commissioner, and that'll pay big bucks.
Yeah.
Or the city treasurer will be a low salary, but he'll also be controller, and that'll be big bucks. What's wrong with McLaughlin? Why can't he just sell insurance like the Daily family?
Okay. Thanks for the call, Mike.
And-
Amy, did you have something to say to Mike?
Mike.
Oh, Mike cut out.
Well, Mike, I'm sure he's listening.
Yes.
Stop texting at 1:43 in the morning.
Oh, boy.
See, sometimes I make the mistake of giving people my personal phone number.
Yes.
Should I start reading texts from Mike over the weekend? Maybe that would be a different segment for a different day.
If you do
Text
that,
messages from Mike on the north side.
there will be a coup in the LGBT party, the Love, Guns, Bacon, and Trump party that Mike is the head of. He will be displaced, and we don't want to see that happen to poor Mike on the north side.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Weather's big news today. The snow is going to fall 14 inches already in Gurnee, 10 inches in Northbrook, and the snow is going to stop. Actually, the lake effect snow warning until 4 o'clock this afternoon. People, depending on where you live, depends on how much snow you're going to receive, anywhere from 3 to 10 to 14 inches. And that's on top of the 2 inches we got yesterday. It's going to be cold, too, a high of 26 degrees. Tonight, becoming clear, but frigid, a low of 15. And tomorrow, sunshine, a few high clouds, but cold, a high of 31 degrees. Let's get into our alarm
You know
detection.
what today is?
Oh, it's a pi.
Pi day.
3.14.
Nice.
I know.
How many digits
Oh, no,
can you go out? 3.14. Keep going.
I'll keep going until the end of the show. Here's Jim Talamonte in our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Thank you, Amy and Dan. Well, Mike Scott mentioned earlier the heavy snow in Gurnee, and that's where some of the traffic is heaviest, too. The southbound tri-state is really a mess from 21 to 137. It was already slow before a crash took out the left lane at 137. Now it's really a big backup. Farther south, slow as well on 294 from Gulf Road to the Adams Tollway. Northbound, stop and go from Sibley to Archer, from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Adams Tollway, a solid mess. Elmhurst Road to the Kennedy. Westbound slow from the Tri-State to 53. Reagan Tollway, slow Myers to the Eisenhower, the Veterans Memorial. Heavy Boughton to the Reagan Tollway and Army Trail to 290. The expressways are out of this world. The Kennedy, an hour and 44 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. Outbound, an hour 18. Eden's, an hour and 5 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose. Outbound, 51 minutes. The Eisenhower's, an hour and a half. Thorndale to downtown. Outbound, an hour 12. Stevenson, an hour and 46 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound, an hour. Ryan, 39 minutes. 95 to downtown. Lakeshore Drive's not bad. Getting a little heavy southbound around Fullerton. Northbound, it's slow Hayes to 57th. Traffic signal problems. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Hey, did you know that March is National Sleep Awareness Month, and we all know how important a good night's sleep is to our health. Many of us have sleep-related issues, and our pillow is a major reason why. So MyPillow has a March offer. Through March, you'll receive a 50% discount on the 4-pack. The 4-pack is the 2 premium MyPillows, plus my favorite, the 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows. And with MyPillow, you can move the patented fill to give you the exact support you need, regardless of sleep position. You'll get into deep sleep faster and stay there longer. No waking up to a stiff neck or headache. They're manufactured in the U.S. and have a 10-year warranty. It's washable, dryable. Parents love that. And there's a 60-day money-back guarantee. So get your 50% off the 4-pack by calling 800-489-0201. Use the promo code Amy. If you've been putting off purchasing a MyPillow, it's time to finally start getting a great night's sleep. I know I do. So go to MyPillow.com or call 800-489-0201 and use the promo code Amy for the 50% off the 4-pack deal.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
There's absolutely no doubt in my mind that this product works. I even recommended it to my mother, and she's been taking it, and she's 89 years old.
It makes me feel good. It really does. I could feel a change in my well-being, let's put it that way.
So far, it has helped my irritable bowel. So I'm just praying that it just keeps going, because you don't know. This was a dreadful thing. Dreadful.
Balance of Nature is celebrating its 20th anniversary by providing you the best offer they've ever given. 2 free months of fruits and veggies and free shipping. Call now for details. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
Balance of Nature, you guys are awesome. God bless you.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Businesses and air travel snarled by winter storms. Only one state lost jobs in January. Those stories next. Hi, folks. Are you an individual or business who owes at least $10,000 to the IRS? Are your wages being garnished? Has your bank account been levied? Do you have years of unfiled tax returns and you're losing sleep at night worrying about it all? Rapid Resolution Tax Group is a team of tax attorneys, enrolled agents, and tax professionals who have helped thousands of people with problems just like yours. They're accredited with the Better Business Bureau, and they guarantee same-day contact with the IRS. If you qualify, Rapid Resolution Tax Group can work towards settling your tax debt for less, removing penalties and fees, and stopping levies and garnishments. They're not intimidated by the IRS, and they promise not to let the IRS intimidate you. Call the professionals at Rapid Resolution Tax Group. They're at 800-601-2929. 800-601-2929. That's 800-601-2929. A late winter storm dumping up to 18 inches of snow in the Northeast, causing airlines to cancel more than 1,000 flights, and about 2,800 more cancellations announced today. Businesses in the Northeast expected to feel the impact as roads go unplowed and customers remain at home. Some snowed-in New York City residents still don't have Verizon Fios services. The city's suing Verizon over a 2008 promise to wire every single home and apartment. Alaska was the only state to actually lose jobs in January, while hiring was up in 13 states, including New Hampshire, which scored the largest percentage gain. Labor also says the level of unemployment in 2 states, Oregon and Arkansas, fell to the lowest level since 1976. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
If you could quickly and painlessly clear your psoriasis or vitiligo, would you?
No matter how big the psoriasis is, no matter how small the psoriasis, we can help you.
Ashley is a clinical specialist for Extract, the amazing in-office treatment for psoriasis and vitiligo that's clinically proven to show immediate results with up to 95% clearance.
What my patients love most about the Extract treatments is it's safe, it's FDA cleared, and they're seeing results very quickly.
End the embarrassing, painful patches and discoloration with Extract. There's no medications, no topical ointments, and virtually no side effects. Extract uses light to transform your skin and change your life. It's covered by all major insurances and Medicare, and will help you find a doctor close by.
I love what I do. I love coming in every day and making a difference in patients' lives. It's amazing.
Call now to live Extract Clear. Call 800-961-9279. That's 800-961-9279. 800-961-9279 or visit xtracradio.com. Qualified patients, certain restrictions apply.
Have you racked up more than $10,000 in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? You should know the credit card companies are tricking you into thinking there's no way out. Credit card companies would rather you didn't know that there are ways you can become debt-free and you don't have to pay the entire amount you owe. There are debt relief programs that help people like you escape overwhelming credit card debt. National Debt Relief has helped tens of thousands of people just like you reduce more than $500 million of debt. National Debt Relief has helped so many people, they're A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau. You don't have to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan. You have the right to settle your debt for a mere fraction of what you owe. Reduce a portion of your debt now. Call National Debt Relief at 800-518-4020. 800-518-4020. That's 800-518-4020.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
El Gallito. Representative Gutierrez arrested for the least of his crimes at 7:17.
And later, Dan has a bracket to fill out, and it's not the NCAA. It's something else. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Snow continues to slam Chicagoland this morning. 3 bodies found in a vehicle on Chicago's south side as police continue to investigate. The wife of Congressman Bobby Rush dies at the age of 67. Mostly cloudy, breezy, and cold today with a couple of snow showers. High of 26. WIND Chicago News Time, 7 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. It's this kind of day across the snowy Northeast.
I plan to stay in the house and shovel when I have to.
She's in New York City, and so is Fox's Tanya J. Powers outside in the storm live.
Well, from Delaware to Maine, the Northeast is getting hammered with this winter weather. Schools are closed. States of emergency have been declared. Officials have been urging people to stay at home if they don't absolutely have to get out. I'm standing outside in it right now. I can feel the winds kind of picking up. They're blowing snow everywhere, making a mess for people who are trying to shovel sidewalks. You can feel it hitting your face. It's not fluffy flakes, more like little pieces of ice pelting you in the face. It's angry snow, Dave.
And Tanya, there's no flying in the middle of all that. More than 5,000 flights are canceled, most of them to and from the Northeast. Hundreds also in Chicago, where it's been snowy and icy. 2 crashes last night left 34 cars tangled up.
All the cars that are coming and pile up and bomb. They hit each other and they hit me too.
7 were injured, but those were minor injuries. Democrats are trumpeting a new analysis of the House Republican bill to replace Obamacare that shows millions won't have health insurance, though some might opt for that with it no longer mandatory. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, a Congressional Budget Office report finds 24 million Americans would be uninsured within the next few years under Republican health care legislation, a plan House Democratic leader Nancy Pelosi calls indecent and wrong.
In terms of insurance coverage, it's immoral.
Health and Human Services Secretary Tom Price says the administration strenuously disagrees with the CBO's findings.
We believe that our plan will cover more individuals at a lower cost and give them the choices that they want.
The CBO analysis finds the GOP plan would reduce federal deficits by more than $300 billion. Dave.
Rachel, pirates have struck again off the coast of Somalia. For the first time in 5 years, they've hijacked a commercial oil tanker. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
In Chicago this morning, we have heavy and dense lake effect snow in spots. A very narrow but very powerful band of lake effect snow is falling, and we have a lake effect snow warning until around 4 a.m. this morning. Heavy stuff picks up again around 9 a.m. and will continue again until 4 this afternoon, according to the National Weather Service. Parts of the Chicago area could literally make up for the winter's missing snow in just about a day and a half. Cook, Lake, DuPage counties being hammered with anywhere from 5 to 14 inches of snow. This morning, there is a moment of silence planned at a suburban high school, remembering a set of 16-year-old twin sisters killed in an apparent murder-suicide involving their father. Police say Randall Coughlin called 911 and admitted to the shooting death of both Tiffany and Brittany Coughlin in his home last Friday. The father also shot and wounded his estranged wife before shooting himself. Twins attended St. Charles East High School, where the moment of silence would take place. They would have turned 17 today. 7 are hurt following crashes that may have been caused by slick conditions. Massive pileup on the Kennedy Expressway involving 35 cars, one person in serious to critical condition. U.S. Representative Luis Gutierrez will not face charges after staging a sit-in at the regional offices of Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Gutierrez and a group of activists showed up to discuss immigrants living in the country illegally. Then the Democrat refused to leave the building because he claimed he did not receive answers he was looking for. Congressman Peter Roskam's office in Barrington targeted this week by demonstrators protesting budget cuts to the EPA, the Sierra Club leading those protests. Cactus League play. Cubs capture a win over the Padres 3-1. White Sox over the Indians 9-5. Bulls stopped their 5-game losing skid with a 115-109 win over the Hornets in Charlotte. NIT basketball action. The Fighting Illini hosting Valparaiso. The news service of Wild Alaska Seafood. Looking for seafood meals your family will love? Look no further than Wild Alaska Seafood. 5 species of salmon, several varieties of whitefish and crab, all nutritious, delicious, and easy to cook. Find recipes at wildalaskaseafood.com. 7:04, check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Do you own or run a business in Illinois that succeeded in this challenging economic environment? If so, we want to hear about it. AM 560's Business Tour 2017, presented by Signature Bank, will be highlighting business success stories. Tell us your story and be a part of a live broadcast of Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy. Find out more and submit your information at 560theanswer.com/business. That's 560theanswer.com/business.
Over 3 million businesses use Indeed.com for hiring, and independent research shows that 5 times more hires are made through Indeed than any other job site. By creating the easiest, most effective hiring experience, we help businesses find great new people every day. Right now, we're giving new users a $50 credit to post a sponsored job on the world's #1 job site. Claim your $50 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
What's that noise?
That's the home security guy. He's installing our alarms.
You're going to be safe as clams when I'm done drilling this sucker in.
Yeah, maybe we should have gone with Simply Safe.
The neighbors love theirs. They set it up in half an hour. No drilling, no wires, no installation fee. And 24/7 professional monitoring is only $15 a month with no long-term contracts.
I'll just pop a rug over this hole. It'll be fine.
Go to simplysafe.com/radio now to get free shipping on your order and a free keychain remote worth $25. Simplysafe.com/radio.
7:06. Let's get an update on the roads. Our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Again, today we see many flight cancellations on the board at O'Hare. Also at Midway, Metra has delays and a cancellation on the BNSF line. Buffalo Grove, backups on Buffalo Grove Road. Crossing gate stuck down near Fort Clinton. Also on 22 at Prairie. Travel times are now insane. The Kennedy is 2 hours from O'Hare to downtown, 55 minutes from Montrose and 48 in the Express. Outbound, an hour and 20 minutes to the airport. The Edens, an hour and 7 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 46 minutes. The Eisenhower, an hour and 50 minutes. Thorndale to the Loop, an hour and 27 from Mannheim, outbound an hour and 21 to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 46 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound an hour and 2 minutes. Ryan, 44 minutes now, 95th to downtown. Tri-State southbound, it is a solid mess from 132 in Gurnee to 137. Crash in the left lane. Then slow golf to the Adams Tollway. Northbound, very slow. Sibley to Archer. Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Adams Tollway, it's jammed. Elmhurst Road to the Kennedy. Westbound, the Devon Toll to Lee. Reagan Tollway from Myers to the Ike and the Veterans Memorial. In the usual spots, most of the way from Boughton to St. Charles. The Army Trail Toll to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
So here's the deal. If you're going to be an hour or so late for work, we'll give you Jim Talamonte's address. He'll write a letter for you. Your boss will be fine with that. 21 degrees, snow showers, and Chicago's morning answer continues next. In your aircomfort.com weather center, here is meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Lake effect, snow warning in effect until 4 p.m. this afternoon. Mostly cloudy, breezy, and quite cold today with a couple of snow showers. Storm total snowfall amount 4 to 8 inches. High today 26. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
20 at O'Hare, 24 along the lake. Next news 7:30. Breaking news as it happens, and Chicago's morning answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Fellow Americans, the time is now to protect your retirement accounts with physical gold. If you currently have a 401k, IRA, or other type of retirement account, then listen closely to this special announcement from GSI Exchange. The current political climate is creating more gridlock, uncertainty, and instability for global markets and the continued slow death of the U.S. dollar. Call GSI Exchange now at 800-909-1394 to receive our new special edition Gold and Silver Investment Guide. Learn how converting your IRA and 401k to physical gold can help you save your retirement and put you in control of your future instead of the banks. GSI is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. Call GSI Exchange now at 800-909-1394. Find out how you can get $1,500 in free gold or silver delivered directly to your home with your qualified transfer. Call 800-909-1394. 800-909-1394.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity, sponsored by Upstream-Ideas.com. The left doesn't need to learn new tricks if the old ones work just fine. The whipped-up frenzy around Attorney General Jeff Sessions is little more than fodder for a couple of episodes of some hackneyed Aaron Sorkin TV drama. It's not an occasion for Republicans to wet themselves, as some have. It's not an occasion for Republicans to adopt the high dudgeon of Senator Stuart Smalley, as some are. And it's not an occasion for Republicans to provide fuel for the gaslighting by the left on Russian influence on the Trump administration or impact on the 2016 election. William F. Buckley commented that relative to the left, conservatives do a poor job of picking up their wounded on the battlefield. True. What we essentially have here is Jeff Sessions cutting himself shaving while putting on his uniform. He then stopped his bleeding with his recusal on 2016 campaign-related investigations. Compare that to the wounds inflicted by bad actors at the IRS, for example, who illegally targeted Americans based on their religious and political beliefs and have yet to be held accountable. Jeff Sessions is our general for justice. We should encourage him to lead, and we should follow him into battle.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Tasty Catering. Get top-tier catering for a budget-friendly price. Plan your party now at tastycatering.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So the CBO weighed in with their scoring of Obamacare replacement, the GOP's Obamacare replacement yesterday. And the top line, there's a couple of top lines. The top line for the left is going to be the CBO's suggestion that as many as 14 million people by the end of next year and 24 million people by the end of 2026 will not be covered. That's what the Democrats have been repeating incessantly the last 24 hours. Get used to it because you're going to get another 18 months of it at least. And the flip side, and this is the response from Paul Ryan's office in part, because the response from the White House and Paul Ryan was slightly different. the White House just kind of rejected the number out of hand. Paul Ryan said, yeah, it's the CBO says that we're going to see $1.2 trillion in reduced spending and $882 billion in tax relief. And so the net is $337 billion in deficit reduction. Exactly. Fiscal conservatism. That's right. Tom Price, on the other hand, said essentially, this is a poorly analyzed, statically analyzed at the end of the day because of the opportunities that are embedded in the replacement. He believes more people will be covered under the GOP plan.
Secretary, without that mandate to buy coverage, would you not concede that millions of people will not have insurance under this plan?
No, I wouldn't concede that at all.
You
because
would not say millions of people are going to lose
no, because the fact of the matter is they're going to be able to buy a coverage policy that they want for themselves and for their family. They're going to have the kind of choices that they want. You think about the numbers that the top line on CBO report today. It basically says that we'll be right back at pre-Obamacare status with about 40 million people uninsured in this country. We believe that the plan that we're putting in place is going to insure more individuals than currently are insured. So we think that CBO simply has it wrong.
Well, what does Grover Norquist think? Grover Norquist, president of Americans for Tax Reform, joins us now with his scoring of the scoring. Grover, thanks for being with us again. Appreciate it.
Delighted to be with you. This is a fascinating example. CBO, Congressional Budget Office, is a government monopoly, okay? It's a bunch of people who work for the government. They have a monopoly, and they get to score how much taxes and spending there are in a particular piece of legislation. There were two interesting things that they did. One's meaningful, the other isn't. The meaningful one you mentioned. This bill scores that in the next 10 years, it reduces spending $1.2 trillion in undoing much of the damage of Obamacare. Not all, but much. Then it cuts $900 billion in taxes. So it reduces deficit spending by $300 billion in the next decade. And then when you read the CBO report, it says, and for the next 40 years, there aren't deficits from this either, okay? And they talk about there aren't $5 billion worth of deficits. That's the legal thing that they wrote. When the CBO scores and says that this bill does not, in years 11 to 50, increase the deficit, and it doesn't, okay, that's their score, then it can be passed through reconciliation. Okay, this may sound boring. This is key. This is why the Republicans, Trump, and Ryan and the American people who want health insurance won a huge, huge win with the CBO score. They said it reduces the deficit, doesn't increase it. What does that mean? It means with 51 votes in the Senate and 218 votes in the House, the bill, as written, can be enacted. Moreover, by saying there's $300 billion in deficit reduction, there's a lot of leeway now. There's some, conservative Republicans who go, gee, the bill isn't perfect yesterday. It doesn't solve all the world's problems. That's true. It doesn't solve all the world's problems. Within reconciliation, you can only make certain changes. But we could speed up tax cuts because you have $300 billion to play with. You could you could expand health savings accounts and flexible savings accounts even more. You get $300 billion in a decade to play with to answer some of the concerns the Freedom Caucus and others have to make it a stronger bill. Now, that is what changed the world. Had that number been this bill is in deficit, that would have been a disaster. But we got exactly what we wanted. It was extremely, extremely helpful.
Well, here,
we're looking at. Yeah, go ahead.
No, so if it isn't mandatory to sign up for the American health care bill, where's the revenue going to come from? Because there's a lot of people out there who are paying an exorbitant amount of health insurance every month, $500 to $600, and they're healthy, and their deductibles are so high, so they're thinking of opting out. So where are they going to get the money?
Okay. Then there's the second part. So the first one is we can now do this under budget reconciliation, which means it can and will pass. Second, they say it does not everyone gets coverage. Well, you got to read the fine print. The CBO's definition of coverage, of having insurance, is Obama's definition. You have to insure for abortions and for all these other things that you may not be interested in, that you may not want to pay for. But their view is, if you don't have a Cadillac, you don't have a car. If you don't have the insurance that the lobbyists wrote in Obamacare, you have to, there are 10 different things that they insist that you pay for in insurance, or they deem you uninsured. That's why more than 6 million Americans who were told they could keep their insurance lost their insurance. And what did you remember what they used to say? Oh, that insurance wasn't any good. It's just what you wanted. It isn't the list of things that Washington thought were terribly important. I'm looking at a list of 10 things that have to be in the essential health benefits, many of which make no sense if you're 20 years old, many of which makes no sense if you're 65 years old. Some don't make any sense for women, some don't make any sense for men, and some don't make any sense for people who don't drink. And so there's a whole series of things that the lobbies that helped write Obamacare insisted be in your insurance so you could pay them or the government could pay them, whether you wanted them or not. So it is technically true if you take the CBO's definite. It's not insurance unless we say it's insurance. And they do, to give them credit, stick in their 22-page report. What we're talking about is, do you buy the insurance that Obamacare calls insurance rather than something else? What Ryan said in that snippet is, people are going to be able to buy insurance that they want.
Well, and
the government wants them to have.
And here's the thing: CBO also conceded that the 14 million who would be uncovered by the end of next year, most of those individuals would be uncovered by choice, number one. Number two, with respect to kind of the static analysis of the CBO, with where you roll back the Medicaid expansion, you still have the tax credit opportunity. So for people that would see one form of coverage go by the boards because Medicaid expansion is rolled back, they still have a tax credit opportunity to purchase health insurance in the private marketplace if they want.
Yes, and they would tell you, CBO, that that's not real insurance according to their lights, okay? You know, if you set up rules as to what the answers are, you get what they said. But this was a huge, huge win for conservatives, for people who want to reform Obamacare, get rid of Obamacare, and put in something else, because it means the legislation that Paul Ryan and President Trump have put together will now move forward. And as I said, they have $300 billion in additional tax cuts over a decade that they can put in to make this more attractive to people who have a question here or there about how to do something with this. But letting people have their own choices on what kind of insurance they want, that's what America's about. This is not one size. For Obama and the Democrats, there's one size. Everyone has to fit into it. It's the Procrustean bed, and if you're too short, they stretch you, and if you're too long, they cut your feet off, and then they pronounce you happy because the system is happy. They keep talking about trying to save Obamacare. How about trying to save the American people who are trying to buy insurance at a reasonable price? They always look at the structure, never at the people. So this is, plus, when CBO makes some of these projections, you've probably seen these, but when CBO scored Obamacare, they said that today, or 2016, this last year, 22 million people would have been in the Obamacare exchanges. It was half that, okay? They said, oh, you know, that expanding Medicaid, that'll cost $4,200 for everybody who enrolls. Well, actually, it was $6,400. They weren't close, but it doesn't matter. We don't need their guesstimate about what people will do. And by the way, when you read their stuff, they're making estimates. This is not economics, okay? This is not science. They're saying, we think state legislatures might do X. And then they give you a number. I'm sorry. I don't need to pay some bureaucrat in the CBO a bunch of money to guess what the 50 state legislatures will pass. You think they're doing some economic analysis, like if you cut taxes 10%, more people will work, or this, that, or the other thing will happen. This is a political statement, and all we needed it to do was give us the green light to abolish much of Obamacare inside reconciliation, which means it can't be filibustered. The Democrats can scream all they want, but they just lost a big one because now Trump is sitting down with the Republicans who have questions and answering those and saying, I only need 50 votes in the Senate plus the vice president and 218 in the House, and we don't need any Democrats. Of course, Democrat votes come with higher taxes and more spending.
He is Grover Norquist. The reason he's one of the best is because he can work in Procrustean bed into a discussion about health care policy. He is also the president of Americans for Tax Reform. Grover, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, we're going to win.
All right, very
Okay.
good. He's pumped. Thanks,
And
Grover.
He joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Nothing sexier than Grover Norquist crunching the numbers, let me tell you. Forecast for today, very dicey out there. A lot of snow. Wow. All right, let's get to the snow totals. 14 inches so far in Gurnee, 10 in Northbrook, and we're under a lake effect snow warning until 4 o'clock this afternoon. You can see anywhere from 3 to 10 to 14 inches, depending on where you live. Then tonight becoming clear and frigid, a low of 15 degrees, and tomorrow no snow, sunshine, and some high clouds, but cold, a high of 31 degrees. Let's go into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center where there's some monster travel times. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Let's see Grover crunch these numbers, Amy. Good morning. The inbound Stevenson is now king. The delays start at Weber. The travel time from 355 to Lakeshore Drive, 2 hours and 21 minutes. It's an hour 45 from the Tri-State to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound, an hour and 8 minutes to 355. Eden's an hour and 10 minutes. Lake Cook to the Junction, outbound 50 minutes. To Kennedy, an hour and 56 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound an hour and 20 minutes. The Eisenhower, an hour and 50 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, outbound an hour and 21 minutes. The Ryan, 47 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 27 minutes. I-80 to the Merge Mission Ford, now heavy at 49 minutes. Southbound Lakeshore Drive is now jammed. Hollywood to North Avenue, 40 minutes. Hollywood to Monroe. Northbound delays from Hayes to 57th and 31st to the Stevenson. Tri-State southbound a solid mess, 132 to 137. Adams Tollway jam from the Tri-State to the Kennedy. All the tollways now have heavy delays, but Northwest Indiana looks great. No significant problems. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Hello, 847-926-0700. Call this number, and if you do, it can bring you thousands of extra dollars right to your wallet. The Art House Gallery is back in Chicagoland. Do you have any jewelry, diamonds, gold, silver, or antiques? How about paintings, porcelain, or Fabergé? Maybe high-end pocket or wristwatches, Rolodexes, Cartier, Tiffany, or Breitling. Well, if you do, call the Art House Gallery now at 847-926-0700. Get cash for your valuables today. Meet in their office in Highland Park or in the privacy of your own home or bank. The Art House Gallery makes it easy and convenient. Professional and respectful, your items and collectibles may be worth thousands in cash paid directly to you. So gather up your jewelry, diamonds, gold, antiques, paintings, high-end watches, and more, and call to schedule a meeting with the Art House Gallery. You'll be glad you did it. Get cash for your valuables today. The number again is 847-926-0700. That's 847-926-0700 or online at chicagoarthousegallery.com.
Here's microbiologist Dr. Kim O'Neill talking about balance of nature.
Scientific research has shown that many cancers and lifestyle diseases can be prevented with a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. This prevention comes from the phytochemicals in the plants. They fight against oxidants that damage the cell's DNA, causing mutations that lead to disease. I don't take any supplementation, but I take Balance of Nature because I've seen it in my lab. I've seen the immune response increase. I've seen your DNA repair capacity increase, and I've seen DNA protection, and I know that it works.
Balance of Nature is providing you the best offer they've ever given. 2 free months of fruits and veggies and free shipping. Call now for details. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
Are you facing foreclosure, been foreclosed upon, in a bad modification, or just stuck in a bad mortgage? Well, we may be able to help you. My name is Lou Bridges. I'm an attorney with the law firm of Lou Bridges & Associates. We've been helping distressed homeowners like you for over 8 years now. We defend foreclosure actions. We bring claims against the banks and the servicers for wrongful foreclosure and other violations of mortgage servicing regulations. And we help people negotiate modifications of their existing mortgages, often including principal reductions. Give us a call. We provide free consultations. I guarantee you it will not be a sales pitch. We will give you our honest analysis, counsel, and advice regarding your options.
Hi, this is Rayanne from Lou Bridges & Associates. I am one of the loan modification processors here, and if you are in need of any additional information in regard to a loan modification, please contact the office.
Go to bridgeslaw.net or call 224-513-1231. That's 224-513-1231.
Remember, people, never give up the land. Fight for truth and justice. You do that, and I guarantee you'll never be alone.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing, independently owned business bank. Signature Bank listens to your story, learns about your business, and sticks with their customers. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Kurt Penn, founder and CEO of Good Foods. In 2007, I was shopping in a natural foods grocery store and had a vision for a company that would produce fresh, all-natural foods with a social conscience. Signature Bank helped turn that vision into what now is Good Foods. Signature Bank President Mick O'Rourke listened to our story and learned about our business. Mick has been with us every step of the way. Signature Bank takes care of the details so we can focus on producing good foods. Signature Bank is deeply invested in our success. Good Foods is very proud to bank with Signature Bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Opportunity Project, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Quickly, I know the NCAA March Madness begins tonight with the playoff games, but I have a
Play-in games.
Play-in games. I have a homework assignment for you. This
Yeah.
is the girls' 5th and 6th grade girls, the basketball playoff brackets.
Which team is coached by Gene Auriemma?
So work on that during Mike's newscast, and then
I'm not picking. It's Burley 10-0. Yeah, all right. I'm putting my money on Burley.
Okay, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll talk to Steve Cortez, Fox News contributor, former Trump Hispanic Advisory Council president, about both Obamacare replace as well as a certain 45th Ward alderman, since he is a Chicago denizen himself. That's at 7:37.
But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Heavy lake effect snow. In fact, a lake effect snow warning is up until 4 p.m. For the large chunk of our area, the heavy snow from overnight is stopped falling or has been reduced to flurries, except for those heavy lake effect snow bands that are hitting the lakefront and heading south toward Indiana right now. Millions on the East Coast as well under blizzard warnings this morning. Severe storms lashing the Northeast. Some areas could get 2 feet of snow, and FlightAware tells us over 6,000 flights, many at O'Hare and Midway, have been canceled because of the storm on the East Coast. And in fact, that East Coast storm is delaying meetings between German Chancellor Angela Merkel and President Donald Trump. She had been set to visit the White House today, but that trip has been postponed because of the storm. A man accused of calling in bomb threats to several Jewish community centers remains behind bars for now. A federal judge in St. Louis denying bond to 32-year-old Juan Thompson. Somali pirates holding an oil tanker and an 8-man crew. The tanker seized yesterday is the first hijacking of a commercial ship by Somali pirates in 5 years. There will be a moment of silence this morning at St. Charles East High School to remember 16-year-old twin sisters killed in an apparent murder-suicide involving their father. The twins did attend St. Charles East. They would have turned 17 today. An investigation continues after 3 bodies were found in a car on Chicago's South Side. The discovery made yesterday morning in an alley near 86th and Throop. Authorities believe one of the victims could be as young as 16. Family and friends are mourning after the wife of Congressman Bobby Rush passed away. Carolyn Rush died yesterday of congestive heart failure at the age of 67. Bulls stop a 5-game losing skid with a win over the Hornets. Illinois on its home floor tonight at the start of the NIT, hosting Valparaiso. The news service of LifeLock, grabbing coffee or breakfast. If you swipe that card, you will leave a trail of digital information that thieves can use to steal your identity. Ever hear of LifeLock? Their U.S.-based team of specialists help resolve identity theft problems. Go to LifeLock.com now. Use promo code RISK to save 10%. 7:32, we'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager is on board with the Republicans' replacement for Obamacare.
I support the health care bill that the Republicans are advancing, though it is not perfect, though it is not as conservative as one would wish, for the exact same reason that I supported Donald Trump for president. We don't have a choice. Not in the real world.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Save 25% on brake pads or shocks at participating Midas through April 2nd. See store for details. Not valid with other offers. Shop and disposal fee extra. Additional parts or services extra if needed.
Check out the Glock event this weekend at Point Blank Range and Gun Shop. All the latest Glock firearms will be featured and on sale this Friday through Sunday and only at Point Blank. Point Blank Range and Gun Shop offers a state-of-the-art indoor shooting range, an extensive inventory of firearms and ammo, and a supportive, knowledgeable team. The Glock event is this weekend at Point Blank Range and Gun Shop. Check out shootpointblank.com for all the Glock info. Some restrictions may apply.
The following is a paid political announcement. Instead of fixing the budget crisis and helping struggling families, Illinois politicians want the government to provide free abortions through Medicaid for all 9 months of pregnancy and for any reason. This would include free abortions on unborn children that can feel pain or survive outside the womb. And who will be paying for this? The already heavily burdened Illinois citizens. Why isn't Governor Rauner opposing this bill? Call him right now and tell him to oppose House Bill 40.
Well, of course I meant exactly what I said.
Illinois Right to Life.
7:34, time to check the climate of your business with aircomfort.com, providing the right climate for business since 1935. A check of the roads, high travel times in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
That's right, Mike. Even in northwest Indiana now, we're seeing mild delays on the Indiana Toll Road westbound, Calumet Avenue to the state line, and even the Skyway is slow in both directions due to the snow. Kennedy's brutal. 2 hours and 13 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, an hour 12 from Montrose. 50 minutes in the Express. Outbound an hour and 18 minutes downtown to the airport. Eden's, an hour and 10 minutes Lake Cook to Montrose. Outbound 50 minutes. The Eisenhower. 2 hours now. Thorndale to downtown. Outbound an hour and 10 minutes. Stevenson, 2 hours and 21 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound an hour and 8 minutes. Ryan, 50 minutes. 95th to downtown. Tollways are all heavy. The worst, southbound Tri-State from 132 to 137. Eastbound Adams Tollway, really a mess from the Kennedy, or from the Tri-State to the Kennedy. Veterans Memorial slow pretty much all the way from Boughton to 290. Traffic is a service of Wild Alaska Seafood. Tonight, unlock the flavor and freshness of Alaska seafood directly from your freezer. With their simple cook-it-frozen techniques, frozen Alaska seafood portions go from freezer to table in just 15 minutes. Recipes at cookitfrozen.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. I want to tell you that there are plenty of schools that are delaying opening by about 2 hours this morning. Most of those are from the Lake Cook Road line north. A good chunk of those are in Waukegan, to be exact. There is one high school we know that is closed today, St. Ignatius College Prep. Cloudy and breezy today. That lake effect snow warning is up. Another band of lake effect snow a little later on today after we just survived one. High near 26. Clear and frigid overnight. Low 15. 20 at O'Hare. Next news at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Real Estate Revealed with Randy Barcella. Heard each and every Sunday at 8 a.m. on AM 560, The Answer.
Let not your heart be troubled. Listen to me, Sean Hannity. I'll have the latest news and what it all means for you. It's coming up at 2 right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy.
Thanks for filling out the bracket.
Oh, yeah, for your 5th and 6th grade girls.
Basketball
tournament.
playoffs, yeah.
You're already to the Final Four.
Yeah.
Because there's 4 teams that you started with.
No, there's 8.
Oh.
Okay, and you have Burley beating Blaine 47 to nothing.
Yeah.
Thanks.
It's like a super fan score.
Oh, yeah. They can't full court press the whole time, just the last 2 minutes of each half. So thanks, Dan.
It's not the way I play the game. It's 40 minutes of hell if I'm the coach. Or how many minutes do you have? More like 24 minutes? Or...
2 16-minute halves.
No, 32 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, not bad.
Well, look at you do the math.
Thank you very much. It's the Catholic School Education. Hey, we're going to talk to Steve Cortez, Fox News contributor, former Trump surrogate. One of the things he wanted to talk about, though, he picked up the story that we mentioned briefly yesterday, but it's worth repeating. This is the 45th Ward Alderman John Arena, who doesn't particularly care for people who disagree with him or for Trump voters. Of Trump voters, John Arena said, this is social media, they're just pulling his Facebook post.
Yeah, he did this to himself, folks.
Quote, I am not ready to cede, misspelled, this country to the racist, classist, knuckle-dragging, and generally subhuman puddle of DNA that makes up the base of President Donald Trump supporters. We have made too much progress since scrubbing the George Bush idiocy from the Oval Office. So there you go. If you're a Trump voter, racist, classist, knuckle-dragging, generally subhuman puddle of DNA. That's you. So make sure you understand that. But hey,
hey, how do you really feel?
You know, those folks on the Northwest Side, you keep going with John Arena. He also said of Indiana, people, saying I'm going to move to Indiana because I can't afford to live here and I don't get much bang for my buck. Go ahead, move to Indiana and live in a third world economy. S blank itty schools and low wages. And read a newspaper or something. Rail against everything but offer no ideas and think only of yourself. Time to grow up and be part of society. Be selfless, like
him.
A Chicago alderman is.
I'm surprised he hasn't gotten popped. Seriously, I've not just spat on or punched in the face.
Well, and also he is the spearheading a major Section 8 development, low-income housing development in the Jefferson Park, Portage Park areas. And as Russ Stewart, who's no real conservative, but is a longtime political analyst, he describes Arena's plan as colonization. The mathematics are elemental, packing 3,000 mostly Democrat tenants into a ward voter pool, and Arena goes from shaky in terms of his reelection to secure. Low-income renters are more liberal than homeowners, have no long-term commitment to the community, care not a whit about property taxes, as many have Section 8 subsidies, and are future Arena voters. Russ Stewart's exactly right. That analysis is spot on. And what do we know from just survey research? You want to turn somebody into a dyed-in-the-wool Democrat, put them on the dole. Mm-hmm. You make somebody dependent, you turn them into a reliable vote for big government on which they're dependent, and for even the most vicious political hacks like John Arena.
Well, he's just, the name slinging, it's just insulting. We're all Americans, and you don't rip on people. In the state next to us, it's been pretty successful. U.S. News and World Report has Indiana the best governed state in the nation, and Illinois not even on the list because we've been downgraded from a state to a territory. But whose territory? Nobody wants us.
For more on this, we're pleased to be joined by the aforesaid Steve Cortez, a newly minted Fox News contributor. You're welcome for us getting that for you, Steve. Thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Good morning, Dan and Amy.
So I know before we get to some of the national policy matters, you wanted to weigh in on what Alderman Arena had to say as a Chicago resident yourself.
Yes, our august alderman. I live in the ward right next to his. I'm thinking that I should move a few blocks over and try to run against him because it's so.
Get a Section 8 voucher if you do. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I'll get into one of his subsidized houses. By the way, his tactic there reminds me that's a much smaller scale version of what I think the Democrats were trying to do, by the way, in this election regarding illegal immigrants. I think one of the reasons they wanted amnesty is they wanted 10 million new Democratic voters. So I think it wasn't out of the kindness of their hearts that they wanted to give amnesty. But in any case, back to Alderman Arena. It's so insulting that we pay taxes for this man so that he can then turn around and call people like me a subhuman puddle of DNA. I mean, I guess I've been called worse, but I can't remember it, to be quite honest.
But when do you think the insults are going to stop? I mean, when do you think the left is going to get over the fact that Trump won, whether they like it or not?
You know, they don't seem capable of it. I think what honestly happened to a lot of people on the left, probably with John Arena, although I don't know him, a lot of them turned government into their god. They truly did. And there was a religious devotion to the state, which I think is sad and pathetic, but I think that's the reality. And so when we won, and when we won on a platform of dismantling the deep state or dismantling the administrative state in Washington, D.C., they really can't deal with it, almost on a religious sense. I mean, because we really did destroy, in some ways, their deity of the state. And so I think that that's part of why they're reacting the way they do. But that doesn't excuse the reaction, of course, and particularly for somebody like John Arena, who is paid for by the taxpayers. You know, between him saying this a couple days ago, at least that's when I read it, and then yesterday, Luis Gutierrez having to be arrested and escorted out of a federal building in handcuffs. Our Chicago politicians, the people we pay who are supposed to serve us, are pretty embarrassing, to be quite frank.
I want Luis Gutierrez escorted into the federal building in handcuffs. That will be a happy day.
Right.
And by the way, that's the least of his crimes. Yesterday, his real crime is his voting record. But on that topic and the topic you mentioned before about amnesty and voting blocks, it's interesting because we've had this voter fraud discussion going on for a couple of months now. And Washington Examiner reporting yesterday, dozens of 17-year-olds voted illegally in the 2016 Wisconsin primary, according to a new state report by the Wisconsin Elections Commission. The individuals incorrectly thought they could cast ballots in the primary if they turned 18 before the November general election. So, so they've got about 60 cases of 17-year-olds voting in the April 2016 primary spread across 29 counties in Wisconsin. So when we talk about voter fraud, I just raise this example because people always say, oh, you know, you're demagoguing Latinos or people here illegally or not trying. No, we're just saying, look, if you don't, it could be a 17-year-old that innocently and mistakenly thinks they can vote and they can't, and you don't have the proper safeguards to ensure that somebody who's administering the election at the polling place in question prevents them from voting and explains to them the law. It's all of these examples, but, 60 examples of that in Wisconsin, that takes 60 votes away from 60 people in Wisconsin who do have the franchise. Their votes are canceled because of voter fraud. And so it doesn't matter if it's white 17-year-olds in Wisconsin or Latinos or Creamy Bob and his gang of Guevaraists trying to commit voter fraud purposefully. It's just the idea of why can't we investigate this? We've done stories, too, in the papers that I run, found instances of duplicate registrations on Illinois voter rolls and the possibility that a number of people voted twice in the 2014 election. We're still looking at 16. So why can't we just have an honest conversation about preventing this kind of fraud, innocent or not innocent?
Right. Well, and it's a typical tactic of the left, though, right? Is that we're not even going to discuss this, and the way we're going to shut down conversation is we're going to call you a racist. It's almost just their default position anytime they really don't agree with you, or I think anytime they think you're going to win on an issue. I don't think voter fraud is systemic. I don't. And I think that President Trump is mistaken to make too big a deal of it. However, clearly it exists. I mean, we live in the real world. We know that people either, out of misunderstanding or out of nefarious motivations, are voting illegally. We have 40 million non-citizens in the United States, both legal and illegal, so green card holders and illegals. To allege that none of them, or even say if it's 5% of them, that's a couple of million people who are voting illegally. It's certainly worth looking into. Does it exist? I'm sure it does. Again, is it systemic? No, I don't believe that, and I think Trump pays a little too much attention to it. But I would also say this, as an Hispanic, the idea that and we hear this all the time from the left, that voter ID is somehow racist. How racist is that notion? I mean, the idea that I can't get my self-identification and I can't get it to the polling place because I'm Hispanic, or because someone's African American. Like we can't figure that out, how to get a state ID or a passport or a driver's license. I mean, it's absurd. It's insulting.
So the CBO, just switching topics here, came out about their health care plan and said that, right now 14 million people will be uninsured, and in 10 years, 24 million people would be uninsured. Do you believe the CBO's report?
I certainly do not. And partly because their track record is so poor in the past, and also because when you want to project 10 years forward on something as complicated as this, I mean, I think you'd be better off projecting World Series winners 10 years forward. I mean, it's incredibly difficult to score, as they say, these things. And so I don't believe them. But look, are there going to be more people who are not, quote, covered? Yes. I think if you don't force people to do something that they don't want to do, a certain number of them won't do it going forward. So, I mean, to me, I almost don't care that number may tick up. What I do care about is access to healthcare, real access to healthcare. So just saying that you're covered when you don't have a usable plan because your deductibles are so high or because your doctor won't take your plan, just saying you're covered doesn't mean a whole lot. What matters is that when you need healthcare, you actually have access to it. And I think that this plan, while very imperfect, not the plan that I would write, I think this plan is going to greatly improve upon Obamacare. And I think more importantly, as a Trump guy, what I want is let's get this almost out of the way. Let's get this solved at least temporarily so that we can then get to what I think is really the holy grail, which is tax reform. And once we get to that, then I think we see this economy soar and people can afford health care and can afford all kinds of things in their life.
All right. He is Steve Cortez, Fox News contributor, former Donald Trump Hispanic Advisory Council head. Steve, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks. Have a great day. Stay warm.
Thank you. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Well, though the snow's not coming down right now, it is. We still have a lake effect snow warning in effect until 4 o'clock this afternoon. Anywhere from 3 to 14 inches, depending on where you live. A high of 26 degrees. Then tonight, clear. The snow will be gone, but it'll be frigid, a low of 15. And tomorrow, plenty of sunshine. A few high clouds, but cold, a high of 31 degrees. Let's get into our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center and say hi to Jim Talamonte. Travel times unlike we've seen in a long time, huh?
Absolutely. Worst travel day of the year, no question about it. That includes air travel. Over 400 cancellations at O'Hare, 80-plus at Midway, but thousands across the country, mainly due to the East Coast weather. Illinois State Police have implemented their emergency snow plans. We're involved in a collision on a Chicago area expressway, and the cars are drivable with no injuries. Just exchange your information, report it later. A lot of spin-outs. The travel times are high. The Kennedy now 2 hours and 13 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, an hour 12 from Manheim, and 50 minutes in the Express. Outbound an hour and 18 minutes downtown to the airport. Edens, an hour and 5 minutes. Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 52 minutes. The Eisenhower, 2 hours and 6 minutes. Thorndale to downtown, outbound an hour 13. Stevenson, 2 hours and 21 minutes. 3:55 to the drive. Outbound an hour and 8 minutes. Ryan, 50 minutes. 95th to downtown. Outbound now 35. I-57, Bishop Ford jammed. Lakeshore Drive messy both ways. Southbound Tri-State, big backup. Southbound Stearns School Road to 137 and the Adams Tollway to Irving Park. The other tollways are heavy. The Skyway even has delays due to the snow. I'm Jim Talamonte at the Alarm Detection Services Traffic Center.
Hey, did you know March is National Sleep Awareness Month? Congratulations. And we all know how important a good night's sleep is to our health. And many of us have sleep-related issues because of our pillow. So MyPillow has a March offer. Through March, you'll receive 50% off that 4-pack. That's 2 premium MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows. With MyPillow, you can move the patented fill to give you the exact support you need regardless of sleep position. You'll get into deep sleep faster and stay there longer. No waking up to a stiff neck or headache. They're made in the US of A and have a 10-year warranty. It's washable and dryable with a 60-day money-back guarantee. So get your 50% off 4-pack by calling 800-489-0201 and use the promo code Amy. If you've been putting off purchasing a MyPillow, it's time to finally start getting a great night's sleep. I know I do. So go to MyPillow.com or call 800-489-0201 and use the promo code Amy for the 50% off 4-pack deal.
Gatto Industrial Platers Inc. is the specialist in zinc and zinc nickel plating. Gatto is big, they're good, and they're easy to work with. Their high production rack plating line has up to a 15-foot capacity to handle any zinc plating requirement. Gatto's 210,000 square foot facility can process 300 tons per day and offers complete custom packaging with available pickup and delivery in the Chicago metro area by Gatto's own fleet of trucks. All of Gatto's products are inspected and certified to ensure that each customer is receiving the best and most cost-effective plating protection. Gatto is home to King Kong, the largest zinc plating line in North America that can zinc plate parts up to 27 feet long and weighing up to 8,000 pounds. For a quote and fast 24 to 48-hour service, call George Gatto Jr. or George Gatto Sr. at 1-800-290-1223. That's 1-800-290-1223. 1-800-290-1223.
Hi, my name is Ray McElroy, former Chicago Bears player and chaplain and founder and CEO of the nonprofit Array of Hope on Earth. You know, running a successful nonprofit organization that serves at-risk, underserved youth in the inner city of Chicago presents its own set of challenges. I am so relieved that as a small, newer organization, we don't have to count our payroll and HR responsibilities as one of them because of the amazing service we receive from Precision Payroll of America. Not only do I appreciate the professional quality of Precision Payroll of America, but I also love that their values of faith, family, and fair and comprehensive service align perfectly with our own.
Thank you, Ray. For our great services, call me at 630-242-1507 or on the web at precisionpayroll.com. To support a great cause, check out arrayofhopeonearth.org.
Tom, you're the best, bro.
No, man, you're the best.
No, you're the best.
Oh, you the man.
No, for real, dog. You the man.
Fruits and vegetables are one of the very best, if not the best way to help protect your body from many of the lifestyle diseases plaguing our nation. Eating over 10 servings of fruits and vegetables daily will help build your immune system to over 720% and is the single most important thing you can do for your health, along with diet and exercise. Why are fruits and vegetables such a powerful health consideration? Because they contain tens of thousands of phytonutrients prepared especially by Mother Nature to nourish our body on a cellular level. Dr. Howard successfully formulated and perfected a mix of 31 different fruits and vegetables and scientifically removed the water and air through a proprietary cold vacuum system, reducing them into a super powder which maintains 99.9% of its nutrient value, then packaging them into vegetarian capsules ready for consumption. Here's Dr. Howard.
What does good nutrition not benefit? Can you name anything that good nutrition will not help? It's not a cure-all. The scope of what it can help is so wide because our bodies are really fabulous chemical laboratories. Everything that functions in your system is a chemical response. Keeping that chemistry in balance and keeping the cells communicating with each other the very best possible way is absolutely the best way to reduce your risk of disease and also help your body help itself even fighting most of these diseases.
Balance of Nature is celebrating its 20th anniversary by providing you the best offer they've ever given. 2 free months of fruits and veggies and free shipping. Call now for details. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
Lately, it seems you're not feeling quite right, as if your body is working against you. Dr. Amy and Associates can help create a path to achieve optimal health. Experience personalized health care for your mind, body, and spirit at a practice that blends holistic and traditional medicine.
I was involved in a devastating head-on motorcycle accident, which left me broken, battered, and afraid. I turned to Dr. Amy and Associates to care for my broken body. With their help, I healed quickly. I was able to sleep, and the nightmares stopped. I was able to get back on the motorcycle without fear. Since they worked with my insurance, I've used them for allergy and food sensitivity testing, weight loss, massage, acupuncture, and life coaching. They use both Eastern and Western medicine and is a holistic practice like no other. I am so grateful for Dr. Amy and Associates.
Call Dr. Amy and Associates to experience a whole-person integrative approach to health and wellness. 630-980-1400 or visit dramyandassociates.com. Dr. Amy and Associates, empowering people, changing lives.
Sometimes things don't turn out the way you expect them to, like Chicagoland weather.
It's so unpredictable. Should I wear shorts or do I need a winter coat?
I think the weather people just throw darts at a board and guess. Oh, look, I got rain.
No matter what the weather throws at us, be ready. Smart businesses rely on Air Comfort to keep them and their customers warm or cool, depending on which way our weather turns. Air Comfort is one of the largest commercial and industrial service groups in the Chicago area, with dedicated factory-trained technicians that take a scientific approach to analyzing your system. They have comprehensive year-round preventative maintenance programs and emergency service, plus design, build, and install equipment for new construction and retrofits of existing mechanical systems. Now is a great time to call Air Comfort and schedule an analysis of your company's mechanical system by their certified award-winning engineering team. Call 708-345-1900 or visit aircomfort.com. Air Comfort, providing the right climate for business since 1935.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so Snoop Dogg has a new video song called Lavender.
It's awful. I watched it yesterday.
Give you a little taste of this here. A little taste. All right, let's get to Snoop Dogg here.
Okay. I hope we bleeped it.
When the night time falls, this the final call. This the final call.
Yeah, that's the only part we could play that doesn't have the N-word, the F-word, and every other profanity that is available to Snoop Dogg.
It's just a bad song, but the imagery is even worse.
Well,
because he has a fake assassination attempt on
Yeah.
a clown dressed up as Donald Trump.
He quote-unquote assassinates Trump with a gun that goes bang with a flag
Yeah.
at the end and then assassinates our eardrums in so doing. But I just find the whole thing, and he's got cops as clowns. It's the prosaic kind of gangster rap video. I just find it so boring. I mean, Public Enemy perfected it with 911 as a joke, and everybody else is just a cheap imitation. And I mean, 30 years later, Snoop Dogg, really? He's just phoning it in.
You're not West Coast rap, you're East Coast rap? Because I'm Great Lakes rap. I'm an Eminem fan.
Are you?
So, yeah, I started the Great Lakes Rap Club.
I was a big Public Enemy fan growing up.
Oh, so you're East Coast rap.
I did have a grill and a shower clock that I would wear around town.
Oh, like Flavor Flav?
Yeah. Going, gone.
Oh. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, Andrew McCarthy will be here, former Chief Assistant U.S. Attorney and Dan's favorite contributing editor at National Review. And later, a not-so-happy ending to the show, guys. You'll have to listen up. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
Heavy, dense snow is slamming the loop right now, and in portions of northwest Indiana, that is where the latest lake effects heavy snow band is. And we have a lake effect snow warning up until 4 p.m. this afternoon as snow hit the Chicagoland area hard overnight. U.S. Representative Luis Gutierrez arrested, handcuffed for staging a sit-in. 3 bodies found in a car on Chicago's south side. The wife of Congressman Bobby Rush dies at the age of 67. We have a cloudy, breezy, snowy day ahead. WIND Chicago News Time, 8 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. It's the kind of day kids dream about. Lots of snow and no school.
We've closed roads and asked people to stay off the roads unless you're an essential employee.
Connecticut Governor Dan Malloy, there are blizzard warnings from Maine to Pennsylvania.
We're told to expect gusts of 35 miles an hour on a steady basis all the way till 3. We've got 8 inches of snow, and our deepest spots starting to blow and drift like it tends to do when you have deep snow and winds.
That's Steve Keeley with Fox 29 in Bethlehem. Fox's Tanya J. Bowers live outside New York City.
Well, that blizzard warning for New York City has been issued for the metro area. It's now been canceled. It's replaced with a winter weather advisory. Sleet is falling here in Midtown Manhattan. We got about 4 inches of snow. Let me tell you, when it hits you in the face, it hurts, Dave. There's plenty of bad weather to go around, though. States from Delaware to Maine affected. It may be a mess, but spring is just a few days away, Dave.
Yeah, Tanya, thousands of flights have been canceled to and from the Northeast, hundreds more in Chicago, where it's also been snowy and icy. There was less wholesale inflation last month. Producer prices rose 0.3%. That's half the increase of January. Something for the Federal Reserve to consider at a two-day meeting, which may end with an interest rate hike tomorrow. The House Intelligence Committee is now giving the Trump administration until next week to provide evidence to President Trump's allegations that President Obama wiretapped him. Fox's John Decker live at the White House.
After missing a Monday deadline, the Justice Department has asked for more time to gather evidence related to President Trump's claim. Meanwhile, White House spokesman Sean Spicer said the president wasn't referring to wiretapping when he tweeted about wiretapping, saying he used the word wiretaps in quotes to mean broadly surveillance and other activities. Should the DOJ miss the new deadline of March 20th, the Intelligence Committee might use its subpoena power to gather the information. Dave?
John, a ruling in Europe has upheld the bans businesses have placed on Muslim women wearing headscarves in the workplace. The EU Court of Justice decides it is not discrimination. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
23 degrees, cloudy skies, winds are north at 11. That gives us a wind chill of 5 above at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning, everyone. I'm Mike Scott. That lake effect snow band drifting into northwest Indiana now, still leaving behind some low visibilities right downtown in the Loop this morning, and snow ranging from about 3 inches at O'Hare up to over 10 inches of snow near Waukegan this morning. There is a moment of silence planned at an Illinois high school to remember the 16-year-old twin sisters killed in an apparent murder-suicide involving their father. Police say Randall Coughlin called 911 and admitted to shooting Tiffany and Brittany Coughlin to death in their home last Friday. The father also shot and wounded his estranged wife before turning the gun on himself. The twins attended St. Charles East High School. They would have turned 17 today. 7 are hurt following crashes involving a massive pileup. Snowy and icy conditions were major contributors to the massive action on the Kennedy Expressway overnight. State police tell us one person is hospitalized in serious to critical condition. Representative Luis Gutierrez will not face charges after staging a sit-in at the regional offices of Immigration and Customs Enforcement. The Democrat was briefly placed in handcuffs after refusing to leave the building. One person is in custody after one suspected gang member was shot. Another was hit by a car outside a suburban Walmart in Bedford Park. Cactus League Baseball will warm your soul a bit. Cubs over the Padres 3-1. Sox over the Indians 9-5. Bulls came up with a nice win over the Hornets in Charlotte 115-109. The news, a service of the Ad Council. When is the best time to talk to your family about staying in touch during a disaster? Amid the chaos? Or is the best time maybe today? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by FEMA, Ready, and the Ad Council. 8:04, time for the AM 560 Business Beat from the Fox Business Network and a service of Turnkey.pro. Here's Ginny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, all the time you're spending online and on your phone is making more money for social media and web companies. Research firm eMarketer says digital ad spending in the U.S. this year will increase to $83 billion. Google leads the search ad market, and Facebook's share of mobile ads continues to grow. Sales are down at the Ruby Tuesday chain. Now it could be sold. Ruby Tuesday says it's looking into a sale or a merger. MoneyGram, the money transfer company, has received a buyout bid from Euronet Worldwide. Euronet's offer values MoneyGram at more than $1 billion. The New York Stock Exchange expects trading as usual today, despite the Northeast storm. The Dow Jones Industrials closed down 21 points yesterday. The Nasdaq gained 14, and the S&P was up a point. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
Sean Hannity sees troubling actions from the Justice Department.
All evidence indicates that, in fact, Obama administration and officials surrounding the president, what did the president know? When did he know it? This is beyond troubling here. If they can tap into the president or the opposition candidate in the middle of a presidential election, nobody's information is safe.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
5 times more hires are made through Indeed.com than any other job site, according to independent research. Imagine a lottery that had 5 times more winners, or a Sunday with 5 times more touchdowns. When you're hiring, it makes 5 times more sense to use Indeed. Right now, we're giving new users a $50 credit to post a sponsored job on the world's #1 job site. Claim your $50 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
What's that noise?
That's the home security guy. He's installing our alarms.
You're gonna be safe as clams when I'm done drilling this sucker in.
Yeah, maybe we should have gone with Simply Safe.
The neighbors love theirs. They set it up in half an hour. No drilling, no wires, no installation fee. And 24/7 professional monitoring is only $15 a month with no long-term contracts.
I'll just pop a rug over this hole. It'll be fine.
Go to simplysafe.com/radio now to get free shipping on your order and a free keychain remote worth $25. Simplysafe.com/radio.
8:06. Well, wide-ranging snowfall totals across the area. Some of it due to the lake effect snow ban. 9 inches of snow in Mundelein and Westmont this morning. In DuPage County, only 2.6 inches of snow officially, according to the National Weather Service. It's all impacting the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. A lot of crashes, and with that, Illinois State Police have put into effect the emergency snow plan for anyone who's involved in a crash with no injuries. As long as vehicles are drivable, just exchange information and report it later. Now see heavy delays on I-80 eastbound Maple to 183rd, westbound I-57 to Wolf, and 8094 is all gummed up from Grant to the Bishop Ford Freeway. Slow and snowy almost everywhere. The Edens is an hour from Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 41 minutes. The Kennedy, 2 hours and 18 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound an hour and 12 minutes. The Eisenhower, 2 hours and 6 minutes from Thorndale to the Loop, outbound an hour 13. Stevenson, 2 hours and 35 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. The delays start well south of 355. Outbound, it's an hour and 5 minutes. The Ryan, 52 minutes, 95th to downtown, outbound 35. I-57, 45 minutes. I-80 to the Merge Mission Ford, an hour 13. Tri-State southbound jammed in that Mundelein and Gurney area. It's especially heavy from Stearns School Road to 137 and Dempster to Irving Park. Northbound 159 to Archer and Reagan Tollway to Irving Park. The other tollways are also very heavy. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. The latest with our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Lake effect snow warning until 4 p.m. Snow showers, bringing the storm total snowfall amount to 4 to 8 inches. Breezy day today with gusts up to 30 miles per hour, high today of 26. For tonight, clear and frigid with a low of 15. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
20 at O'Hare, 23 along the lakefront. Next news at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Secure Retirement Radio with host Raj Shah. Sunday mornings at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. We're going to be speaking with Andy McCarthy. He is a contributing editor at National Review. He's also a former chief assistant U.S. attorney in New York. Now, he was not fired from National Review by Jeff Sessions because the Department of Justice doesn't reach to National Review personnel decisions. But 46 U.S. attorneys that were appointed by Obama are out, including our very own Zach Farden for the Northern District of Illinois. And he wrote a letter on his way out the door, Amy.
Yeah, and it starts, Dear DOJ.
Dear Casey.
Dear Casey, I have a dog. Will you please play All Out of Love by Air Supply? No, he wrote...
Oh, Mandy, you came in. All right.
So he resigned. You know, he was complicit. He's like, all right, fine, I'll resign. But on the way out, he wrote this 5-page letter and handed it to a few reporters, left a copy of the 5-page letter on everyone's desk at the U.S. Attorney's Office in the Northern District.
And it said what?
Basically, we need to flood neighborhoods, talking about violence and the unrelenting street violence in Chicago, that we don't need the National Guard. We need to flood neighborhoods with local and federal law enforcement officers, not just to arrest the bad guys, but also to be standing on that corner where shots otherwise might get fired. to be breaking up the corner loiters.
Loiters.
Yeah. And that's
boy.
This was his manifesto. Okay, on the way out, this 5-page letter goes on and on about that.
So apparently, Preet Bharara is not the only one who wants to run for mayor. I don't know what that has to do with Zach Varden and his rather unremarkable tenure as the U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Illinois. I'm sorry to say. So that's one legal matter we have to discuss with Mr. McCarthy. The other is the D.C. Press Corps' attempt to manufacture a new angle to the Michael Brown case in Ferguson, Missouri that just doesn't exist. This documentary that comes out.
It's called Strange Fruit.
Yeah, something like that.
Stranger Than Fruit. I know. Is it the South by Southwest
Strange
film,
Brew? That was the
film
Bob and Doug
festival on
McKenzie,
Saturday.
Great White North. This is something different. And it just shows video of Michael Brown earlier in the day at the Ferguson market. He picks up a box of cigarillos. He drops the box of cigarillos off before he leaves. Then he comes back, of course, and bum rushes the store clerk. Video we've all seen. And the documentarian is making the case this was some kind of drug deal or other exchange that ultimately went bad by the time Michael Brown came back.
But the store's attorney said there's no drug exchange. There's nothing.
Well, but even still, let's take the facts in the light the argument in the light most favorable to the moving party, the documentarian, and the others who want to recast this Michael Brown case. So what if it was? How does that change anything that happened between Michael Brown and Darren Wilson? How does it change anything Michael Brown did to Officer Darren Wilson? I'm just totally unclear on why this is material. And, of course, the D.C. Press Corps is now getting people worked up such that there were protests and arrests the other day in Ferguson yet again because
two people were arrested.
Because they're interested not in racial cohesion, they're interested in racial conflict. Are we getting that? Do you see their angle of incidence? Do you see who benefits when there is discord? Hey, boy. But for all of these topics and more, we're pleased to be joined by the aforesaid Andy McCarthy from National Review. Andy, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Dan, Amy, how are you?
Good. So why don't you wrote extensively about the Michael Brown case when it was, at its apex a couple of years ago. And I just wonder what your reaction was. Am I correct to say, even if what they say on this video, which, by the way, the St. Louis County prosecutor had, and he basically says this is a non-event, this is nothing new, we knew about this. But even if what the documentarian says is true, that this was some kind of drug deal between Michael Brown and the owners of the Ferguson market, so what?
Yeah, well, when I was a prosecutor, which I was for about 20 years, I think if the defense lawyer in a trial explained to the jury that my client is not guilty because he's not a thief, he's a narcotics trafficker, I'd be feeling pretty good about my chances.
Yeah, right.
I guess the logic of this, if you can call it that, and mind you now, we're not talking about something that was fleetingly investigated. We're talking about something that was investigated to the ground. They interviewed hundreds of eyewitnesses. They had, whatever video there was, they had. I suppose what they're trying to drive at is that because the predicate for the stop between the officer and Brown was a robbery, that they were concerned about a robbery, and if it turns out that it wasn't a robbery, but the store owner was actually in cahoots, so it was a drug conspiracy instead of a robbery. What they had was
but Darren Wilson didn't know that.
That's the point. Right?
Right.
The police could only go on what they know in good faith, and if you make a good faith mistake of fact, that's not something that gets held against the police, particularly if the reality turns out that it may be actually even worse than what you suspected in the first place. So, I think this is just it's the thing that I think connects the two stories that you teed up before you got to me, which is that the left is basically practicing provocateur politics because that's where its base is now, and what you do to try to appeal to people, whether you're a departing U.S. attorney or a filmmaker, is agitprop. You basically try to stir up the base, and that's what these guys are about.
All right, speaking of people, U.S. attorneys who received letters, one wasn't too kind. It was apparently told by President Trump, then candidate Trump, that he could stay on as U.S. attorney in New York there. Do you know him personally?
He worked for me his first year in the office. I know him pretty well, actually.
Does he have an inflated ego, or is this just, sour grapes? What do you think?
Well, look, when he was a nice, I liked him when he worked for me. I thought he was a talented guy, and he obviously had charisma and ambition. And if ambition is an issue, they probably have to fire the whole Southern District of New York office, because it's sort of in the job description. And we were within the walls of the office, lovingly referred to ourselves, and the rest of the country referred to us, not with love, as the Sovereign District of New York.
Really?
Because of the famously inflated egos and independence from the Justice Department and the like. So, look, I think he's been riding a major wave of favorable press in the New York tabloids for a few years now, and maybe he just got an inflated sense of himself. What I would respectfully suggest to my old friend Preet is that, the U.S. Attorney's Office has had, just in the last 20 years, people of the caliber of, Rudy Giuliani, Mary Jo White, Jim Comey running it. And one of the reasons it's a great office is because everybody knows that the office is bigger than the people who run it, and the work always goes on regardless of who's in the boss's office. So, I think he ought to take a deep breath. I would wish, and I think the guy I knew years ago would have respectfully tendered a resignation letter, just like, by the way, Jeff Sessions did in 1993 when Bill Clinton fired all of the U.S. attorneys. Sessions at the time, I think, was the U.S. attorney in Alabama and was one of the ones terminated by Clinton. So, everybody knows that this is what happens. And in fact, the reason there were only 46 Obama incumbents left to fire is that the other 48 or so knew that this is exactly what was going to happen. Once the election result meant that not only be a change of administrations, but a change of parties, everybody had to know that they were short-timers. And it's got nothing to do with whether you're doing a good job or a bad job. That when there's a new regime, no one expected Trump to keep Obama's cabinet, right? Well, U.S. attorneys are appointees just like the cabinet is. And, if you have a very different philosophy of law enforcement, which Trump clearly does compared to Obama, naturally you're going to want your own people in there executing it.
And since Trump has made a point about urban centers and violence, and in particular Chicago, when it comes to that score, give us a sense of what a U.S. attorney could do. So, for example, a new U.S. attorney that Trump would appoint for the Northern District of Illinois. What can a U.S. attorney do to combat violent street crime that is mostly a state matter?
Well, there's kind of two approaches, right? So there's the police the cops approach, and there's the police the streets approach. And by one of them, you kind of amp up the civil division side and monitor the policing. On the other side, you do what, for example, Rudy Giuliani did when he became U.S. attorney in New York in the early to mid 1980s. Street level narcotics trafficking is a crime that the feds have jurisdiction over, as well as the states. So, usually in most places, what happens is the feds do the major importation and interstate level drug traffic, and they leave it to the police and the DAs to handle the local stuff. But it doesn't have to be that way. So the feds can throw their resources into the cities and work in a team kind of concept, a task force concept with the state and local police. That's what we did in New York when I first started as a prosecutor in the early 80s. So it's all a matter of approach, and I would imagine that what we'll see from the Trump administration is more attention, at least in those areas of the country, the big cities where the crime is inching up. I think you'll see more of attention to street-level narcotics trafficking.
He is Andy McCarthy, former Chief Assistant U.S. Attorney, as he was describing, and a contributing editor at National Review. He is must-reading for all things legal-related. Andy, thanks so much for joining us as usual. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Take care.
You too, and he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Weather's a big deal, and so are traffic times, so let's get to it. Right now it's not snowing, but there's some snow squalls up near Waukegan and south and southwest of the city right now, anywhere from 3 to 14 inches of snow. I know it's a big...
Squalls was the name of my high school band. It was a Thompson Twins cover band. Isn't that weird?
It's going to be cold today, a high of 26 degrees. Tonight, the snow ends. Oh, by the way, the lake effect snow warning in effect until 4 o'clock this afternoon. Then it's over. Clear skies tonight, cold, a low of 15. And tomorrow, plenty of sunshine, but a few high clouds and still cold. A high squeaking, we hope, into the low 30s. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Phone's ringing off the hook. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Oh, Doctor, Amy and Dan, good morning. We have delays even where we normally don't. Places like the Skyway and 394 in both directions. Between 8094 and Sauk Trail, it's just slow and snowy everywhere. The Edens is an hour from Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 41 minutes. The Kennedy, 2 hours and 18 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, it's an hour 13 from Montrose, 57 minutes in the Express, outbound an hour 12 to O'Hare. The Eisenhower, 2 hours and 15 minutes. Thorndale to downtown, outbound an hour. The Stevenson is 2 hours and 35 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound an hour 5. Ryan, 52 minutes, 95 to downtown. Really icy approaching downtown on the bridge there near the Stevenson. Outbound the Ryan is 40 minutes. Big delays on the Bishop Ford, especially inbound. Lakeshore Drive, all heavy in both directions on both sides of town. Southbound Tri-State, a mess. Stearns School Road to 137 with a crash in the left lane. Really slow Everett to Half Day, and from the Adams Tollway to Irving Park. Delays northbound 159th to Archer, and from the Reagan Tollway to Irving Park. The other tollways are heavy, 53 as well. The Indiana Toll Road is slow westbound in pockets in Hammond. Otherwise, though, northwest Indiana, by far the best place to travel at the moment. There are a lot of flight cancellations. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Jim Talamonte, did you see that he got my Thompson Twins
Oh,
reference?
so
Any
cute.
doctor. That's why Jim Talamonte completes me.
Oh, my gosh. Hey, do you find yourself saying, if only I had more leads, if I only had more prospects to sell to? Well, if that sounds familiar, then let me tell you about the Sales Prospecting Group. The Sales Prospecting Group is ready to help you take your business to the next level. They're local, Chicagoland company that has helped hundreds of companies nationwide to secure new business by getting them in the door. The Sales Prospecting Group will get you appointments with qualified prospects, I love that name, to help you grow your business. They don't use contract labor or offshore callers. Their in-house staff of business account executives are highly trained, professional, and effective. The Sales Prospecting Group will build a custom campaign specifically for your business. They know how to navigate the complex corporate hierarchies, get you to the right people, and get you connected. And they specialize in B2B sales. You want help? Call the Sales Prospecting Group right now, 630-701-9052. That's 630-701-9052.
Dennis Prager here, and for 2 years now, I've been telling you about my wife, Sue, who tried Relief Factor because of her knee pain, and it worked. And if you're struggling with ongoing back or neck pain, shoulder, hip, or knee pain, or general muscle aches and pain, do what my wife Sue did. Try Relief Factor. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call them toll-free 800-500-8384, 800-500-8384.
In an epic battle of David versus Goliath. In the early 1980s, a child was born. 2 of them, actually. Their names were Jeff and Andy. Time went by, they developed facial hair, and one day, something happened. Andy got ripped off buying overpriced razors. So they decided to start their own shaving company and fix shaving once and for all. They hired the best designers. They bought a 95-year-old German blade factory. And they started selling high-quality razors online with no upcharging, direct to customers. How did the overpriced razor company respond? By threatening to sue their pants off. Don't worry, Jeff and Andy have plenty of pants and a relentless dream to give all guys a great shave at a great price.
Try Harry's free. They'll send you a razor with 5 German blades, foaming shave gel, and even a travel blade cover when you sign up. Just cover shipping. Plus, get a free post-shave balm at checkout with code 9999. That's harrys.com, code 9999 to get your free trial set.
Don't you just hate how the games are on while you're at work? Solution, watch the games in comfort with an affordable ergonomic office chair from VPOE, Villa Park Office Equipment. Some people only watch March Madness for the upsets. Well, it's time to get rid of that old squeaky office chair and stop upsetting your coworkers. Run down the court now to the champs at VPOE, Villa Park Office Equipment. A slam dunk every time. 1120 North Villa Avenue in Villa Park. View their entire inventory online at VPOE.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I was diagnosed with congestive heart failure. I went from being able to work 14, 16 hours a day with no problem to where I could barely walk a block to the store. I went on to the phytonutrients about 6 months ago, and within a couple of months, my medical doctor had cut my prescriptions down in a little bit smaller dosage. The next time I went back a month later, I walked into the doctor's office and he says, "My gosh, what's happened to you? You don't even look like the same person." He looked at my legs and the swelling had gone down. My blood pressure was down. The venous stasis ulcers that I had had on my legs for the last 4 or 5 years because of the poor circulation were all healed, and I'm feeling far better.
The new challenge will allow you to receive 2 months of Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies free. And we'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-246-8751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
Signature Bank, AM 560 Business Tour, Amy.
Yeah.
Guess where we're going tomorrow?
Well, it's funny you should ask. We are going to Star Creations, Inc., not in Lincolnshire, but in Lake Bluff. I'm glad we didn't have it today because we'd still be trying to make our way there.
Indeed. And that is a continuation of what we've been doing for many weeks now. It's our AM 560 Business Tour presented by Signature Bank. We're celebrating local businesses, overcoming the odds, and succeeding in Illinois and Chicagoland in spite of the many challenges they face. We're making businesses great again. We want to give back to the business community by broadcasting our show live from locations throughout Chicagoland. Does your business have a great success story? If so, we want to hear about it. Go to 560theanswer.com/business. Fill out the brief form to tell us about how you and your business are serving your clients and community, and we'll select several more businesses as stops on our AM 560 Business Tour. We'll broadcast from your location to share your success with our audience. So go to 560theanswer.com/business to tell us your story. Again, that's 560theanswer.com/business. And we may be stopping at your location this spring on the AM 560 Business Tour, sponsored by Signature Bank.
AM 560, The Answer.
You want more than just the headlines? Find out what's going on and what it means with me, Dennis Prager, this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Amy, a little Iowa high school story for you. You're familiar with these schools, I bet. Valley High School.
Yes, it's a very well-to-do high school.
Uh-oh.
Well, they were driving Hummers when they first came out. They're very rich kids.
I see. Back when you were matriculating at University of Iowa in the late 70s.
Yes.
Des Moines North, they were playing a game against Valley.
A little bit of a rougher school.
Okay.
They were scrappy, you might say.
Well, Valley fans got in trouble.
Why?
Because they wore American flag adorned clothing.
Oh.
They wore the red, white, and blue.
What's wrong with that?
Yeah. Apparently, North fans, Des Moines North high school fans, insist that was a personal attack against them because some of their students come from refugee families. A lot of people are upset about it, said one sophomore. Even if it was their theme for the game, I feel they should have switched that because everyone knows North is a more diverse school. The United States of America is a diverse place.
Yes.
You mope sophomore who's being poorly educated at Des Moines North High School. But, of course, Valley backed down because that's the era. It's been brought to our attention that the decision by Valley, the Valley student section, to wear USA apparel at our game last night was offensive to members of your community and fan base. We're deeply sorry if we offended you in any way. We have traditionally dressed in such a fashion for a great game such as the one last night. Everyone here at Valley has immense respect for not only you and your team and your players, but for your community as a whole. Please know that our intent was in no way to offend or demean, just to support the team, blah, 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 blah.
America!
The American flag is offensive. Here's,
I wore an American flag bathing suit real quick, and to this.
boy.
Well, no. Oh, yeah, to this pool in Plainfield. No, I'm kidding. On a ski
walked
weekend,
right into that.
on a ski weekend in New Hampshire with a group of friends, and I was yelled at. She said, "Look at you, and you're supporting Trump." I said, "This is an American flag. It has nothing to do. It's American. We're all Americans." But they see that being Trump related somehow, and it's bad.
It's just this whole thing is so absurd. But I would encourage Des Moines North High School students, don't come to Chicago and go to a Blackhawks game. You're going to be very, very offended.
You'll need a safe space. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, David Drucker will be here. And later, a happy ending to the show? Well, maybe not in Texas. We'll explain. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
Still a few lingering flurries and some lake-effect snow showers at this hour. Less snow, more ice for the East Coast. We have snow. They're getting ice. The nor'easter, more of a wintry mix. They're dramatically reducing those snow totals that meteorologists were forecasting. They said 2 inches of snow, but the ice is bad enough, and that will cause folks to hunker down and cause airlines to cancel about 5,900 flights today. Congressional Budget Office says 14 million could lose their health care coverage next year if the GOP plan to replace Obamacare takes effect. Now, that number could balloon to 24 million if the CBO has scored the bill correctly. Health and Human Services Secretary Tom Price strenuously objects to the numbers, says more actually will be covered by the plan. It will be much more cost effective as well. Scotland's leader this morning warns British Prime Minister Theresa May not to block a referendum on Scottish independence. Kentucky this morning not holding its breath and waiting for a promised revival of the coal industry, so they're on the cusp of doing something that once was unthinkable, opening the door to nuclear power. The Republican-controlled state legislature is close to lifting a decades-long moratorium on nuclear energy in that coal state. Jurors set to resume deliberations today in the corruption trial of former L.A. County Sheriff Lee Baca. At issue is whether Baca in 2011 obstructed a FBI investigation into guards who apparently savagely beat inmates in his jails. Baca is now 74 and is in early stages of Alzheimer's. There is a moment of silence planned this morning at a suburban high school remembering 16-year-old twin sisters killed in an apparent murder-suicide involving their father. It will happen at St. Charles East High School, where the twins attended. They would have been 17 today. One person is in custody after a suspected gang member was shot and killed, shot and another hit by a car outside a Walmart in suburban Bedford Park. Police tell us the incident happened yesterday after separate vehicles drove next to each other and then flashed gang signs. Chicago sports. Well, let's warm the soul a bit. Cubs capture a win over the Padres in Cactus League play, while the White Sox beat the Indians 9-5. Jimmy Butler had 23 in a Bulls win over the Hornets in Charlotte, 115-109. The news service of Napa Auto Parts this month. At Napa Auto Parts, when you make a purchase of $24 or more, you'll receive a free, yes, free, Chase Elliott Napa racing cap. That's Napa know-how while supplies last at participating locations. 8:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher has a message to Republicans in Congress.
I'm trying to pace myself. I'm trying not to get too fired up over these Republicans who are pushing back and arguing and squabbling and what about this, what about that. You know, you are flirting with danger. Why don't you act like Democrats do once in a while and be unified?
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Are you hiring? Join the over 3 million businesses that use Indeed.com for hiring. Post your next job opening on the world's #1 job site, Indeed.com.
Hey, are you thinking about the IRS right now? Man, if the IRS is coming after you, your problem, your IRS problem is there day and night. You need help to fight the IRS. I recommend you call my very good friend, Attorney Stephen Leahy of Open Tax Resolutions. Hey, he's got a special offer going on right now. If you're not certain about your position with the IRS, he will pull your personal IRS transcripts and find out exactly where you stand for free. Find out where you stand if you owe back taxes, if you have unfiled returns. Hey, if you're afraid of the IRS, call my friend Steve Leahy now. 312-664-6649. Steve's the host of the IRS Radio Hour, heard every Sunday at 5 right here on AM 560. He's also a really good friend of mine, and I don't know of anybody better in dealing with the IRS. Call him now. Steve Leahy, 312-664-6649. That's 312-664-6649.
8:36. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
On the westbound side of 8094, Mike, we're now seeing heavier delays from Broadway all the way to the Bishop Ford Freeway, and the westbound Indiana Toll Road is heavy from Calumet Avenue onto the Skyway, where the delays continue. Inbound Kennedy, delays start at Canfield. It is 2 hours and 3 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound an hour. Eden's 58 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 38. The Eisenhower, 2 hours and 15 minutes from Thorndale to downtown. 2 hours from Manheim, outbound an hour to Thorndale. Stevenson, 2.5 hours, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 48 minutes. The Ryan, 52 minutes, 95th to downtown, outbound 40. Lakeshore Drive, southbound jammed Hollywood to North Avenue, 45 minutes Hollywood to Monroe. Northbound scattered delays start at Hayes. Tri-State southbound a mess. Stern School Road to 137 with a crash still there in the left lane. Heavier delays as well from Everett to 22. The Adams Tollway to Irving Park. Northbound 159 through Archer and from the Reagan Tollway to Irving Park. The other tollways are heavy, 53 as well. I-80 has delays. Eastbound LaGrange Road to the Tri-State and westbound I-57 to Wolf. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next with your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Coming to us from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Cloudy, breezy, quite cold, with snow showers and that lake effect snow warning until 4 p.m. this afternoon. High near 26. Currently 20 at O'Hare, 25 along the lakefront, 22 Midway. Your next news update is at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is sponsored by the Art House Gallery. Sell your gold, diamonds, jewelry, watches, and more. Call 847-926-0700.
Hey, Joe Walsh here. Listen to Freedom any time of any day. Go to walshfreedom.com/podcast. Freedom returns at 5.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. This is interesting. New Country heard from one Central Illinois Congresswoman named Cheri Bustos weighing in on the Republican proposal to replace Obamacare. This
is a state rep?
Congresswoman.
Oh, excuse me.
She's very quietly, after saying she was not interested in running for governor in 2018, she very quietly filed paperwork to establish a state political action committee. So she may still be exploring a gubernatorial because she did it quietly.
She did it quietly.
I don't want to let the cat out of the bag.
I don't want to let anybody know that I'm running for governor.
So here's Cheri Bustos repeating the talking points that she was given from Pelosi and the P-Hat posse. And she's on with Steve Kornacki on MSNBC, who's basically the only guy on CNBC who comes even close to playing it straight. And I think he's also the only on-air personality at MSNBC, I should say, MSNBC. The only on-air personality at MSNBC who pays his taxes as well. Here's Cheri Bustos repeating the talking points you'll hear for the next 18 months from the Democrats.
So the 14 million fewer who are insured, what's going to happen is those who will opt out when there's no longer a mandate will be the healthiest of the healthy. And so that will leave this so-called sick pool, the people who are the sickest, the seniors, the disabled, kids, the people who are going to need insurance the most. Those will be the people left out in the cold. There are also estimates, and I don't know if the CBO will get into something like this, but that seniors will pay as much as 5 times more than others through this Paul Ryan, Donald Trump plan. So what I would ask of people is to really drill down, take the time to look at what this new plan will mean and what it will mean specifically to you, to your family, because the news is not good news unless you're healthy.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I wish Congressman Bustos would take her own advice and look at the plan as well as look at the CBO scoring, if you believe the CBO scoring, which is another topic of discussion. But by 2026, premiums decrease by a projected 10%. Those are CBO numbers. So it's not exactly the dystopian scenario that Congresswoman Bustos presents. For more on this topic and what the CBO score means for moving it through both chambers, we're pleased to be joined by our friend David Drucker, senior Capitol Hill correspondent for the Washington Examiner, WashingtonExaminer.com. David, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
So on the good news side that Paul Ryan was touting, $1.2 trillion in spending reduction, $882 billion in tax relief. That nets you out $337 billion in deficit reduction, according to CBO. And so this is good news because you can move it through reconciliation. It speaks of fiscal conservatism, and this is something the GOP can sell. Is it something that Paul Ryan can sell to the GOP holdouts on his proposal?
Well, maybe. I mean, look, I think it's really up to President Trump to sell the GOP holdouts. I mean, it's even though Ryan was instrumental in writing the bill, he did it really with an eye towards satisfying Trump's desire that a lot of these benefits remain in place, pre-existing conditions and everything else. I mean, a lot of Republicans want that as well. And I think one of the things they're running into is trying to design a bill that does all of the good things that the Affordable Care Act did that people seem to like, but none of the things they didn't like. And that's hard to do. So the CBO score offered some good news on deficit reduction. As you notice, the numbers about the number of people that will lose coverage or not be covered over the years. Well, of course, some of that's related to the fact that they're no longer going to be forced to be covered by the government, forcing them to do so by law. Those numbers are going to be, at least in the short term, problematic, and Republicans are going to have to figure out a way to not be scared off by them.
Well, and the numbers, though, the CBO concedes the 14 million number. Most of those individuals will be voluntarily opting to not purchase health insurance, so they're choosing not to do it. It's not that they want to and they can't get access. And then number two, you still have the tax credit entitlement, which is a sticking point for some conservatives and members of the Freedom Caucus. But you still, if your coverage is withdrawn because of rolling back Medicaid expansion, you still have the tax credit vehicle through which to purchase a health insurance in the private market.
Right. And so, look, I can't argue with any of that. What the debate is about, and it's really an intra-party debate here among Republicans, is whether or not the repeal and replace vehicle, the American Health Care Act, is enough repeal and satisfactory replacement. The guys on the right are upset because they don't really think it repeals the architecture of Obamacare. They think it leaves too many things in place because you're still telling insurance companies that you have to provide a certain level of coverage and benefits. And, of course, among moderate Republicans or even Republicans who are conservative but come from states that adopted the Medicaid expansion, and now they have a bunch of people that are using that expansion, even though this is going to implement or would implement a Medicaid reform that a lot of Republicans have wanted over the years and let the states be in charge. They're concerned about, what's going to happen to people that are on this Medicaid expansion portion of the coverage. So you've got to satisfy them. And, then you got to satisfy the president because he's the one that's been running around saying everybody's going to be covered and they're going to have better coverage for less money. But everybody's going to be covered part of that equation is difficult to do if you're going to do a real, a more free market oriented type of piece of legislation.
Yeah, on the campaign trail, he kept saying, you're going to love this health care plan, but a group that's not loving it so much, and I want you to help me out here, the age tax, people between 50 and 64 who make less than 30,000 or less a year. Can you explain why the AARP is upset about what they call an age tax?
Well, so the AARP, of course, was a big supporter of the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare. And one of the things in Obamacare that I think a lot of us forgot is that it's mandated that you can only charge seniors up to 3 times as much as you charge young people for health care insurance. Now, the problem with that, of course, is that it has made health care more expensive for young people and is one of the contributors to the fact that you haven't seen this rush of young and healthy people to get health insurance, which was supposed to happen under Obamacare, to pay for all these generous benefits. This has caused a lot of the problems with the current system. It's why you see high deductibles, rising premiums. In certain areas, not a lot of choice. In some areas, even though other people, are still quite happy. So what the new bill would do is say you can charge seniors up to 5 times as much as you charge a young person. That's supposed to make, the goal there is to make it more affordable for young people, to incentivize them, make it more desirable and easier for them to purchase health insurance so that they'll get into the system. And, of course, young and healthy people intend to use insurance, so they're paying in a bunch of money over the years, and that money's going to pay for all of the older and sicker people. And, of course, understandably, the AARP doesn't like that, but the American Health Care Act is trying to give insurance companies more power to come up with plans that are affordable for people and pay for them, and that's what's going on there.
Well, and then the other piece of that, though, too, the pandering to seniors as well as the static analyses offered by politicians. If you have a more competitive marketplace with competing plans, then you're going to drive down the cost of those plans, as opposed to, as the point Dr. Tom Price made earlier this week and last week, a third of counties in this country have only one health insurance provider. Well, I mean, if you have effective monopolies or oligopolies, then of course prices are going to be higher, artificially higher than they would be in a more competitive marketplace. So that's one piece of it. And the other piece of it, too, is some honest conversation with baby boomers and seniors in this country to say, look, you're getting 1.5 to 2 times in terms of health care services what you paid into the Medicare system. So how about we reorder the generational compact here rather than feasting on the young?
Yeah, nobody wants to do that, though.
Well, I know that. I know.
I mean, even when Paul Ryan over the years has proposed to reform Medicare and Social Security for future retirees and do nothing for people that are either in retirement or near retirement, everybody goes apoplectic. The president himself campaigned on doing nothing about Medicare and Social Security, so that politically it's a stupid thing to do. And so just nobody wants to do it. People that are older, the older people get, the more they tend to vote. Lately, these older voters have been voting Republican, and so it's
Well,
this is where we are.
They're the ones affected by this age tax.
Well, yeah, okay, and the healthier the one, the young are the one affected by this Ponzi scheme that we've set up. It runs in every which direction, and look, this is why Rick Santelli said on Meet the Press on Sunday, look, it's always a political will problem. It's not, we know what a free market system looks like. We know what the implications would be. We know it would be more efficient and frankly more moral, but there's not the political will to do it because you have to you make an argument, a difficult one, at least in the short term, to vaunted constituencies that nobody has the appetite to make. So that's how you turn health insurance from an opportunity into an existential right. And this is how you build up $80 trillion in unfunded liabilities because everybody's a coward. I mean,
well, there's not much I can add to that.
I mean, I'm just saying, it gets a little frustrating. Republicans have the opportunity, and David, as you're mentioning, disproportionately Republican constituencies. That's where you go to your allies and you say, hey, look, we've got to have this difficult conversation and lay it out and say we need to change the trajectory of this whole darn thing called the federal government, and I need your help to do it. But instead, it's just, pandering.
Yeah, no, look, a lot of what you're saying makes sense. Doing something that big takes leadership from the top. That's why you have a White House.
Yeah.
If the White House ever gets on board with entitlement reform, maybe it's something that can happen. Right now, the president's focused on waste, fraud, and abuse, and which obviously every president comes in talking about doing something about. He may do something about it. The money isn't there, even if they can fix that, which should be fixed. Obviously, Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security They eat up 2/3 of government spending and growing every year by law automatically.
Right.
So, right now they got to see if they can get this health care bill done, because if they can't, it's going to impact everything that else they want to do, including tax reform.
He is David Drucker, senior Capitol Hill correspondent for the Washington Examiner, WashingtonExaminer.com. David, thanks as always for joining us.
Anytime. Thank you.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper, hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
This is Ed Rollins. President Donald Trump has nominated Neil Gorsuch for the Supreme Court, and we need millions of Americans to pick up the phone right now and to deliver your voice directly to your senator. This is the most critical moment in modern history that will define the future of our country. Radical liberals like Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi have vowed to block President Trump's nomination by all means possible. We need millions of Americans to call 800-939-5885 to send your voice directly to your senator to demand the immediate confirmation of Judge Gorsuch to the Supreme Court. This could be the most important phone call you will ever make for the future of our country. Please call 800-939-5885 and put the pressure on the U.S. Senate to confirm President Trump's nominee. Again, call 800-939-5885. Please help pressure the Senate to confirm Neil Gorsuch and help Donald Trump make America great again. Call now.
Paid for by Great America PAC, which is responsible for the content of this message. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. GreatAmericaPAC.com.
Hey, your company's IT partner should be more than just a place you call when you're having computer problems. Today, IT is beyond just hardware and software. IT is about a relationship between technology and the people who work with it, and that's where our good friends at Turnkey IT make a difference. They're an IT company and a people company. They help people use IT better. People need help from computers, servers, to cloud-based systems. Cybersecurity is important. People also need help finding out what's out there and how to implement exactly what they need, all with the support of the best team around that resolves issues quickly. People remember the good experiences they receive when working with Turnkey IT. Shouldn't your business receive the same white glove treatment? See what other AM 560 listeners already know about Turnkey IT. Local, reputable, compassionate, experienced. It's easy. Just visit turnkey.pro today. That's Turnkey IT. It does IT better. Visit turnkey.pro.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I'm telling you right now, it's awesome. I was trying to get my blood pressure regulated, okay? And after 3 days of taking this thing, my blood pressure went back down to normal. I am ecstatic. I am so happy with this stuff. It is my savior.
This was the first summer that I have not had to have a steroid shot to help me to breathe.
The reason why I'm taking it because I've got Hep C. Once I began taking your stuff, it took a few months, but believe it or not, my liver enzymes are way down and it's normal now. It works.
The new challenge will allow you to receive 2 months of Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies free. And we'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
It's the most effective product that I've ever bought in my life, but I should have ordered it like 15 years ago.
If you're aged 59 and a half or older with the 401k plan and still working, stop what you're doing and call Arlington Capital Management at 855-471-5796. They'll help you actively manage your 401k, show you strategies to avoid major declines, and capitalize on opportunities. There are benefits with age, and this is one of them. At 59 and a half, you're entitled to new opportunities in the investment world that can dramatically improve your results and even lower your fees. Call 855-471-5796 now and take the first step toward getting more out of your retirement assets. The team at Arlington Capital Management proactively explores the market, our economy, and all of the variables that offset your investments. Call 855-471-5796 now for a complimentary consultation. That's 855-471-5796 or visit arlington-capital.com. You worked hard to accumulate your nest egg. Now, it's time to put your money to work for you.
You're the one that gets it done. The person your friends call to see if you can fix it. Brakes? No biggie. Shocks and struts? Simple and straightforward. The catalytic converter heat shield? Come on. If it has wheels, you can make it go. But not having the right part can bring your project to a screeching halt. Problem solved with MyPartsGarage.com. My Parts Garage is not a big box store that needs to wait to get a part in. My Parts Garage is the warehouse that sells wholesale to you. They own the inventory, so your part is always in stock. But wait, there's more. Like free shipping within 24 hours, in-state next-day delivery, or pick it up today at the warehouse. Plus, the customer service is seriously awesome. So the last thing you need to do is drive fast and furiously to find auto parts. With the average driver in Chicago commuting at least 24 miles per day, people are spending more hours in their car than they do at home. Drivers need you, the mechanic. You need MyPartsGarage.com. Lowest prices guaranteed.
If you could quickly and painlessly clear your psoriasis or vitiligo, would you?
No matter how big the psoriasis is, no matter how small the psoriasis, we can help you.
Ashley is a clinical specialist for Extract, the amazing in-office treatment for psoriasis and vitiligo that's clinically proven to show immediate results with up to 95% clearance.
What my patients love most about the Extract treatments is it's safe, it's FDA cleared, and they're seeing results very quickly.
End the embarrassing, painful patches and discoloration with Extract. There's no medications, no topical ointments, and virtually no side effects. Extract uses light to transform your skin and change your life. It's covered by all major insurances and Medicare, and will help you find a doctor close by.
I love what I do. I love coming in every day and making a difference in patients' lives. It's amazing.
Call now to live Extract Clear. Call 800-961-9279. That's 800-961-9279. 800-961-9279, or visit xtracradio.com. Qualified patients, certain restrictions apply.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up next, it's me, Mike Gallagher, right after Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560, The Answer.
Now, before we do this story, Amy, I just want to say for our friends and listening audience, I wanted to talk about orangutan boxing.
Oh, well, we could get to that tomorrow.
Yeah.
But the big story today, and it's kind of a joke, but not really. I mean, there is legislation in Texas from a state rep, a bill that would outlaw male masturbation. We'll be right. That's why I said maybe not such a happy ending to the show. Get it?
No, I don't get it.
Okay, so this Texas bill, HB 4260, a.k.a. the Man's Right to Know Act, allows doctors to refuse to give men vasectomies and Viagra prescriptions if it conflicts with their personal, moralistic, or religious belief. Plus, there must also be a consultation visit at least 24 hours previous to any vasectomy procedure. Plus, there's a civil penalty, for self-love unless performed in a health and medical facility for the sake of artificially inseminating a woman.
I'll tell you, it's
$100 fine.
I'm a bit confused because I learned from Whitney Houston that the greatest love of all is learning to love oneself.
Well, actually, the state rep, the author of this bill is Jessica Farrer, and she's a pro-lifer.
Yeah.
So she never wants to see it enacted. She called these regulations satirical, because you have to have a 24-hour waiting period like you have to have in Texas before ending a pregnancy, get it? So she's trying to be funny with the bills on the floor. But some lawmakers who aren't paying attention didn't read the bill.
Sure.
Thought,
that must have thrown
goodness.
the House of Representatives into an uproar.
I can't touch myself. There's $100
Okay,
fine.
divinals. Yes. No, that's...
I mean, do lawmakers really do that? That's
There's
funny.
nothing funny about that. We had the knuckleheads in the Illinois General Assembly pass a resolution in preparation of the zombie apocalypse. Yeah.
Okay.
So
I mean that was satirical, or that was? I mean, they really
do those individuals in the Illinois General Assembly believe that a zombie apocalypse is upon us? That's
Or
a good
could be
question. I
upon
have
us?
no idea. Based on the quality of the representatives we have down there, I have no idea. They may actually fear that.
We're working without a budget and haven't, and that's what they voted on.
They may think The Walking Dead is a documentary. I don't know. I don't know what goes through the minds of most of the legislators in Springfield. So you got me there.
All right. Thanks so much for making us part of your morning. Thanks to George Hoffman, who's our technical director today, and Keith Conrad, who's our executive producer. We're back here tomorrow morning. Actually, no, tomorrow morning we are on the road for our Signature Bank business tour, and we are going to, let's see if you remember.
Star Creations in Lake Bluff.
Very good. Thanks so much for making us part of your morning. Have a safe day. Now let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, snow continues to hit Chicagoland, especially northwest Indiana at this hour as we continue to watch a lake effect snow warning, and that will be in effect for us until 4 p.m. this afternoon. U.S. Representative Luis Gutierrez handcuffed for staging a sit-in. We'll tell you why. The wife of Congressman Bobby Rush is dead at the age of 67. Last night in sports, Bulls topped the Hornets to end their 5-game skid. Illinois hosts Valparaiso in the NIT tonight. WIND Chicago News Time, 9 o'clock.
Record and see if it works. Okay, check. Yeah. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson.
Wasting away in a Margaritaville retirement home.
Sounds good to me. It must be 5 somewhere because we're back at 5, AM 560. The Answer. Oh, that went to 10 seconds. Have fun.
Do me a favor.
Yeah.
We'll just save a step here.
Yeah.
Click right there. Go to
I always save it here, MP3. I'll label it while you do it. Yeah. That's what David said to do. Chicago. Oh, you get to save a tree.
Thank God it's Wednesday.
You love Wednesdays.
For the next, what is it, like 4 or 5 weeks?
Yep. All right, do you want to see if it's in there? I'm going to go get my